from Madison Square Garden in New York, where later this evening we will present Lewis versus Grant. Our card begins with a heavyweight bout featuring Vladimir Klitschko taking on David Bostis. Next up, the exciting and gutsy Arturo Gatti faces Eric Jakubowski. That'll be followed by a featherweight championship between title holder Paul Engel and former bantamweight champion Junior Jones. And then the main event. Two of boxing's all-time biggest heavyweights, champion Lennox Lewis and rising star Michael Grant, battle for the heavyweight championship of the world. Too Big is being brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the undefeated king of beers. This Bud's for you. Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. And by TVKO, pay-per-view entertainment from HBO. Saturday night in New York City, where entertainment options abound, but taking center stage tonight will be a heavyweight bout that could be of epic proportions. And good evening, everyone. I'm James Brown, and welcome to TVKO's presentation of championship boxing. Lennox Lewis will put his championship on the line tonight against a huge power-punching youngster, Michael Grant, widely regarded as the top heavyweight contender in the world. That will be coming your way around 11:30 tonight in the main event. But up first, the undercard action. And for that, let's send you downstairs ringside to the guys who will call all the action tonight. Larry Merchant, Big George Foreman, and our anchor, Jim Lampley. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, James Brown. We'll turn to the undercard in just a moment. But first, a chance for our two expert commentators here at ringside to make their first comments on the evening with regard to the heavyweight championship fight to take place a little bit later on between Lennox Lewis and, of course, Michael Grant. Two-time heavyweight champion George Foreman. George, Lennox Lewis comes off his two big fights with Evander Holyfield, most important fights in his career, and he accomplished his lifetime ambition, became the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. So let's take a look now at the list of the other men from outside the United States who have held the heavyweight championship in the 20th century. And you see here that together, these 5 fighters added to an aggregate of about 10 years when the championship didn't belong to an American fighter. Now boxing's popular appeal once again in question. Do people in the United States, do fight fans in the United States wait for the moment now when an American fighter like Michael Grant will take the title back?
I don't think so. When you look at Lennox Lewis' record, he's the most American foreign fighter there is. He's had most of his boxing matches right here. American trainers probably have a home or two right here. So, and we've seen a lot of him. We know more probably about him than the people in Europe. So I think that it's different. We feel like the title belt is at home as long as Lennox Lewis have it right here.
Well, I'm sure Lennox feels the same way, and he'll have a chance to make that statement again later on tonight. Working with us also TVKO boxing analyst Larry Merchant. And Larry, it's no secret Michael Grant looked vulnerable in his setup fight for this against Andrew Galata. Even those people who criticize him not on the basis of not having the tools to be heavyweight champion of the world. They just say that he isn't quite ready. So is he still a work in progress, not ready for the task that's facing him tonight?
Jim, I think we're all a work in progress. In fact, many heavyweight champions were considered not quite ready, works in progress, when they were challengers. Just recently, Holyfield, too small. Bo, too soft. Lewis, too timid. Tyson, too young, overhyped. And going back a way, Muhammad Ali, as they say here in New York, forget about it. No chance. As for experience, a couple of pretty good heavyweights named Marciano and Holmes had negligible amateur careers, like Grant, and actually turned pro at an older age than Grant did. You can't dismiss experience, but the real issue tonight is Michael Grant good enough? Period, question mark.
All right, we'll find out later on, as we said. But first, let's start the evening off with a heavyweight battle, and we're going to see young Vladimir Klitschko. If you watched HBO's Boxing After Dark 4 weeks ago, you saw his brother Vitaly embarrass himself by quitting in the late rounds of a fight he was leading and would have won against Chris Bird. Now, Vladimir gets a chance to redeem the family somewhat and to take a step toward a possible heavyweight title shot down the road for himself. The younger Klitschko brother, 1996 Olympic gold medal winner in the super heavyweight division, is 32-1. His loss to Ross Purity, not unlike his brother's loss to Bird, in that he won most of the rounds and was headed to victory before he quit toward the end of the fight. His opponent tonight is a hard-punching David Bastis, a former Los Angeles gang member who's been through very rough moments in his life. He says, hey, getting into a ring with boxing gloves doesn't scare me. I've been shot at more than once. 22-1 with 1 draw and 12 KOs for Bastis, coming in as the opponent against Vladimir Klitschko here. And tail of the tape now, and Vladimir Klitschko, like his brother, is representative of the new wave of physicality in the heavyweight division, listed here at 6'5". In some quarters, you'll see his height listed at 6'7". He has a 2.5-inch reach advantage over Bastis. Both fighters weigh over 230 pounds, which now is a qualification for being near the pinnacle of the division. Rules of the bout with the unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Vladimir Klitschko David Bastis fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
All right, Harold, let's go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer to get the evening started in the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Madison Square Garden, New York City, where tonight, Panics of the USA, main events, and your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, proud to be your bud, present an evening of professional boxing for your entertainment. All the bouts are sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission. Chairman Mel Southard, Commissioners Mark Kornstein and Rose Trentman. Special Assistant to the Chairman, Jim Posanello. Executive Director, Tony Russo. Director of Boxing, Bob Duffy. Chief Physician, Dr. Billy Lathan. Medical Director, Dr. Robin Scarlatta. Ringside physicians are Drs. Stephen Marks, Gerard Barlotta, and Michael Fiorelli. Timekeeper at the bell, Jim Barzell, and the alternate referees will be counting for the knockdowns for all the bouts tonight. This bout is scheduled for 12 rounds, and it's for the WBA Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. The 3 judges assigned to ringside, scoring the bout on a 10-point must system, will be Tony Paolillo, Luis Rivera, and Sid Rubenstein. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Joe Santarpia. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes to us from Mesa, Arizona, with a professional record of 22 victories with only 1 loss and 1 draw, 12 KOs to his credit. He weighed in at 230 pounds, wearing the green trunks. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the challenger, David, the Boss Bastis. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue, trimmed with white, weighing in at 242.5 pounds. His professional record, an outstanding 32 victories with 30 KOs and only 1 loss, and he has captured 3 international titles, including the WBC Intercontinental title, and he's the reigning European champion. Ladies and gentlemen, from Kiev in the Ukraine, here is the reigning WBA Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Vladimir Klitschko.
Gentlemen, you both know the rules. I want a good, clean fight. Are there any questions? Shake hands now, and God bless you both.
This is Vladimir Klitschko's 9th fight since he lost to Ross Purity, a smart, tough journeyman from Oklahoma, when he just ran out of gas. He didn't know how to pace himself, had never gone beyond 6 rounds. That was not the same scenario as his brother quitting, although he feels that he's been stained by what happened in Berlin a few weeks ago.
And incidentally, the tail of the tape listed the 2 fighters at equal heights. When they stood together in the center of the ring, it became clear Klitschko is taller than Bastis by an inch or 2.
fighters are using the circular motion around the ring. One is backing up, but he's doing it in a circular fashion. That's the way you want to do with a puncher. Don't go straight back.
Bastos' trainer, Chuck McGregor, who has been in the ring against both Klitschko's, Vladimir and Vitaly, insists that neither Klitschko brother can fight well going backward. So he urged Bastos to find a way to back Vladimir up, just as at some moments in Berlin 4 weeks ago, Chris Bird was able to back Vitaly up. So far in the early going, though, it's been Vladimir who's had the initiative with his jab. Now there's a left hook to the middle of the chest by Bastos, and Vladimir comes back to stick the jab into his face.
It's obvious that Vladimir has a better use of the left jab. Both are throwing them, but one has power, and he has intentions of going over on top with a right hand. Bastos is careful, which he should be.
Already it's very evident, clear, that Vladimir is the much smoother, better coordinated athlete than his brother.
And he gets in a left hook, and down goes Bastos with a look of surprise on his face.
7, 8, you okay?
He was down twice against Israel Cole in his only loss. Those were the only 2 previous knockdowns for David Bastos. So a moment of surprise for him. And Klitschko didn't even seem to be putting full mustard on the left hook that put him down.
No, he just caught him right on the side of the head. Where
he had been throwing nothing but jabs, and when he caught him by surprise with that little left hook, I thought, George.
There he throws it again.
You see, he takes a better right hand than the left, hit him on the left side, right side of the face, and he goes down.
Because that's a harder punch to see, the left hook. That's why
just a certain fighters got weak.
Oh, he hurt him again with the left hook. Now Bastos attacks, coming off the ropes, trying to buy some time.
So you got to zero in on weaknesses on boxers. You can hit some guys on the chin all night, nothing happens. But you raise it up a little bit on the top of the head, and you'll drop it. There it is again. See that?
Hurts him again with the left hook.
See, I've always thought the left hook is the most...
This could be a first-round KO as Vladimir steps in and unloads against Bastos. He can't be saved by the bell. Goes down for the second time. 3. Count continues now beyond the bell.
5.
And Bastos trying to make it
7,
up.
8.
Will beat the count and make it to the second round, but plenty the worse for wear after some accurate short left hooks by Vladimir Klitschko.
Continue.
Hey, man. What's you? You all right? I'm cool. You sure? Sure. David. What? You sure? David. You're dropping your hands. You got to keep your head moving. Look at me. You're dropping your hands and pulling back. Where did we not want to go? Keep your hands up and your chin down and give me head movement. You want to fight, man? Yes. Okay. Give me head movement. Just relax. Just look at me. Stick with me.
After throwing jabs for 2 minutes, that little left hook that Bastos never saw put him down. And Vladimir Klitschko tried to exploit it for the last 30 seconds of the round.
3 times in the first round, Klitschko hurt Bastos, all 3 with the left hook, pointing up towards Foreman's point about find the right target and then go after it. See, he lands a big right hand there, and Bastos isn't as effective.
Yeah, 30 fighters. You got to look around and scout them and see who hurt, who, when, and where. And Klitschko has just got to jab, and look for good left hooks.
Well, by CompuBox numbers in the first round, he landed 26 of 38 jabs. Obviously, that makes it harder to deal with his power punches, too.
And Big David has just got to throw a lot of punches. As soon as he throws punches, Klitschko backs away.
And stops punching.
Yeah, so keep throwing shots. You don't have to be accurate. Make him back away.
And you heard David adamantly telling his corner he wants to fight.
Step back. Come on,
but his head and legs still somewhat missing as he makes it to the second minute of round 2. And takes another big right hand and goes down for the 3rd time. David Bastos is outgunned against Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah, he says this isn't like an alley fight. This is worse for him.
This is when your corner should come to your rescue now. He's being outgunned on both sides of the head now.
That ought to do it. That should be enough. Let's see if Joe Santarpia totally agrees. And that's the end of the fight on the fourth knockdown as Vladimir Klitschko rescues a portion of the family honor 4 weeks after his brother's embarrassment in Berlin with a resoundingly successful trip to Madison Square Garden. And Vladimir told us yesterday that he would like to take his paycheck from tonight and go to Vegas and double it.
Well, he may go to Vegas for a championship fight one of these years, and he can more than double it.
David Bastis upset with what happened to him. Klitschko closed the show, landing 8 of 14 power shots in the second round. And Larry, I agree with you. He's the more fluid and athletic of the two Klitschko brothers. George, what'd you think?
I think it was a good fight. I'm sorry for David Bastis.
Yeah.
He really wanted to win. He kept getting up, but he just was outgunned. Sometimes you got guys in there, got the greater power. You got to learn to move your head and back away from hurt. He was not willing to back away.
Exposure to make an ultimate judgment about Vladimir Klitschko's potential.
Too brief whatsoever. He didn't. I could see when the other guys start throwing shots, he would give ground easily.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see him 2 or 3 more times before I get judgment.
Yeah. All right, let's look at the first knockdown in the second round, which was the third knockdown of the fight. And after knocking Bastis down twice with left hooks in the first round, Klitschko went to his bread and butter, the big right hand in the second round, and landed this one on the top of the head, which more often than you would think is a blow that does damage.
A lot of that was he never recovered from the old left hooks in the previous round. It's a matter of him just trying now, fighting with heart.
Klitschko's overall strength, physicality, you know, the new generation of big heavyweights, George. You were the precursor.
Yeah, but you know what? It's going to take small guys to whip them. Never expect a lot from the big guys. You get some of these little guys, 6'1", 6'2", they clean up the division every few years.
Well, Bird cleaned up Vitali in Berlin despite the huge size disparity there. And
but I'd like to see this guy a lot. He's muscular. He's got good strength in his leg, long reach. He could be a great contender.
Got a great smile, good sense of humor. It was fun to talk to him yesterday. Let's go to Michael Buffer with the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Joe Santarpia calls a halt to this bout. The official time, 1 minute, 27 seconds of the second round. The winner by TKO victory and still WBA Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Vladimir Klitschko.
Like all great Ukrainian fighters, Klitschko uses Tina Turner music as his theme harmony in the ring. Final punch stat numbers, it was a wipeout. Bastis landing 6 of 96. Klitschko 56 of 90. And jabs, this is where the attack begins for Klitschko. And he landed 30 out of 46 for 65%. So this was a one-sided big victory for Vladimir Klitschko. And Larry Merchant stands by with him right now. Let's see if he'll speak English in the interview.
All right, thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Vladimir. Tell us how you have changed as a fighter since you lost to Ross Purity.
Okay, Ross Purity is don't more any question. When I have fight with Ross Purity, I can fight it and I win. And I have a first time in Madison Square Garden in New York, and he's so nice. New York is crazy city. It's like Mars, like another one planet. And thank you very much.
All right, tell us what your plans then are. Do you want to fight Chris Bird, who defeated your brother, or do you want to go in another direction with your career?
Okay, my brother, after the 6 months or 5 months, he's ready for fight with Chris Bird, and he wins this fight. I know that he wins, and I think he can sell with Chris Bird, making anything.
All right. So what you're saying is that you prefer that your brother get a chance to redeem himself for what happened in Berlin, and that you're going to go and challenge one of the other title holders or the champion.
Du sagst jetzt, dass deine Bruder lässt du ihn vergisst werden und du gehst zu anderen Leuten.
Okay, we have a dream, but with my brother. But anything comes from the dreams. And we have really, really good and reality dreams. 2 world champions to be. 2 brothers and 2 world champions in heavyweight division.
Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Thank you, too.
Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Larry. Arturo Gatti scheduled next in the ring against Eric Jakubowski. And amazingly, boxing's most completely entertaining fighter, Gatti, wants to talk to our Nick Charles before entering the ring. So, Nick?
Well, Jim, Arturo Gatti's sufficiently warmed up. Arturo, what do you think of the New York State Athletic Commission's decision to make the undercard fighters weigh in day of the fight?
Well, if everybody's happy about it, it's all right. With me, it was fine. They did the right job the first time when I fought on February, and this time they did a great job again, and I think everything is great.
Why do you think they did it?
Well, they figured I was a little bit too heavy, but you know, it doesn't really matter because everybody had the same opportunity to weigh in the morning before the fight.
You had a little trouble making weight today. What have you done to put on the pounds since and rehydrate, and what do you weigh now?
Well, I'm not sure, but the only thing I know, I feel good, and I'm ready to fight tonight.
So you've rehydrated, no problem? You don't feel it jeopardized your strength or compromised you at all?
Not at all. The weigh-in this morning was fine. They can do that all the time. It's fine with me.
You know, you're on the rebound. You're trying to get back and win a title. And you're fighting a guy, this is the 3rd opponent they've thrown at you in 8 days, a guy that it looks like a colossal mismatch, perhaps. Based on the fact that you smashed Joey Gamache into retirement in 2 rounds 3 months ago, are you a little uneasy to say that, you know, this could get really ugly out there? Are you...
Not at all. No, I think that you can never assume to submit your opponent. And tonight, we're going to see what's going to happen tonight.
And you had a final word for us?
And I want to congratulate my sister, Pina. She got married today. I couldn't make it. I'm sorry. From all of us, congratulations.
Okay, Arturo Gatti, I'll tell you, it's hot enough in here. I think I've gone down a couple of weight divisions, JB.
All right, Nick, and maybe I should as well. All right, so again, Vladimir Klitschko, awfully impressive in his victory over David Bostis, an awfully strong man indeed. Still to come later this evening around 11:30 p.m., it'll be the main event, heavyweight championship bout between Lennox Lewis taking on the young gun, Michael Grant. Grant at 6'7", 250. How relaxed is he before this big event? I would say he's pretty relaxed, sleeping. Normally he is singing gospel songs, Christian songs, but he is resting comfortably right now. Still to come on this evening's undercard, it'll be a featherweight championship bout between the champion, Paul Engel, taking on Junior Jones from New York City. And of course, up next, it'll be Arturo Gatti taking on Eric Jakubowski. Now, as you heard Nick Charles interviewing Arturo Gatti, there is an awful lot of controversy surrounding Arturo Gatti, and as you heard in that interview, surrounding the weight gain in his last fight against Joey Gamache back in February. Arturo Gatti gained an awful lot of weight, and as a result, there is a pending multi-million-dollar lawsuit by the Gamache camp against the New York State Athletic Commission for what they feel was a poorly executed weigh-in. Let's take you back to last February. The official weigh-in the day before, Gatti weighed in at 141 pounds. That was objected to by the Gamache camp, but there was no re-weighing. Now, HBO, as has been its practice the last several years, conducted an unofficial weigh-in on the night of the fight, and Gatti weighed 160 pounds, 19 pounds heavier. Now, what was to have been a competitive bout with Gamache turned out to be anything but, as you see Gamache picking himself up off the canvas, and in the second round was dropped again, pummeled by Gatti, required hospitalization, and subsequently retired from boxing. Now, again, gaining weight, nothing new for Arturo Gatti. As you take a look at his 5 most recent fights, you see the weight gains, most notably in that second to last fight against Reyes Munoz, a 21-pound weight gain. Nothing illegal about it. And earlier today, the New York State Athletic Commission said all non-heavyweights on the undercard tonight had to have a day of the fight weigh-in. Gatti weighed 149.5 this morning, was given 15 minutes to lose that half-pound, came back, got in the buff and on the scale, and made the 149 limit. Now, you heard him tell Nick Charles he feels strong. What that strenuous effort to lose that weight, what kind of effect will it have on him, we'll find out. That remains to be answered. But joining me now to talk a little bit about this, Kevin Kelly, and we'll get to you in 1 second, but quickly, we understand that Nick Charles has an additional report. Let's turn back in to Nick Charles. Nick?
Well, JB, on the left of me, you see the scale that we brought in, hoping some of the fighters would get on it who are fighting on the undercard. Junior Jones, in fact, who's fighting for the IBF Featherweight Championship at 125 pounds, did get on and checked in at 131. His opponent, though, Paul Ingle, declined because he told us he was discouraged by the New York State Athletic Commission from weighing in night of the fight, as we've been doing here at HBO and TVKO for many years, and also by his promoter. So that's the situation here. We have the scale out here. Arturo Gatti, as you heard, declined to step on the scale tonight. He's obviously heavier than he was this morning. But once again, Engel did not want to go on. Junior Jones did. So some of the fighters are stepping on, having no problem with it. It appears that the New York State Athletic Commission is, though. That's the latest from here. Downstairs, let's go back up to you, JB.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. Now let's bring in Kevin Kelly, as we mentioned, former featherweight champ. Kevin, you know what the controversy is surrounding Arturo Gatti. Your thoughts about weighing in the day before versus the day of?
Well, weighing in the day before a fight was invented by the doctors who felt that weigh-ins were essential 24 hours for the body to properly hydrate, properly get toned, to get some nutrition into it. Because it's kind of unfair to a fighter to weigh in the morning of the fight. A lot of times what happens is a lot of fighters, there's been a case of Trinidad blowing up 20 pounds, Shane Mosley. I know for myself, I train with these guys. It ain't something, they're singling out Gotti. I feel it's very unfair to single out Gotti. Look at James Toney, 18 pounds before the Roy Jones fight. So if you look at a lot of incidences before this incident, you'll see a lot of fighters. It ain't just a problem with Gotti, it's a problem in boxing. But how do you fix the problem? As long as a fighter makes the weight designed by the contract, I don't believe there's a problem with the next day him weighing up to 40, 50 pounds over.
Now, you mentioned James Toney. In the case of Toney versus Roy Jones, that extra weight apparently hurt James Toney. He was awfully lethargic, very slow in his bout against Jones, yet for Gatti, it helped him. So how do you bridge the gap there?
Well, how you bridge the gap is that you, sometimes they weigh a fighter in with the gloves on, with the shoes on. I've been weighed in before like that. I believe that if you got a naked weight to start, you get a naked weight to finish. A lot of times they weigh the guy in, they look at Gotti, he's heavy, he's a big bone guy. A lot of guys, their metabolism is their body. Some guys gain 10, some guys gain 18, some guys even gain 22 pounds before a fight. In the history of boxing, I think it's very safe for a fighter to hydrate his body properly. It was proven by the doctors. This is not something that we made up or any commission made up. The doctors made it and designed it for fighters.
Okay, you mentioned 24 hours now. Certainly it remains to be seen what kind of effect it's going to have on Arturo Gatti this evening. He told our Nick Charles, as you heard a few moments ago, that he is fine. He doesn't expect there to be any problem at all. If, in fact, he's being singled out, will he have an issue to go back at the New York State Athletic Commission with that?
I believe it's a problem with the manager of Joey Camacho, who is giving a problem to the commission. I believe if the outrun was different, the outcome was different, Camacho would have won the fight, there wouldn't have been no lawsuit. There would have been anything. I think it's a matter of how Gotti finished Joey Camacho. I mean, if you have to criticize something, they're going to criticize the weight. Okay? So I believe that we're being petty here, because if Camacho was 18 pounds heavier, I believe that the manager would have no problem.
You are as smooth up here on the announce booth as you are in the ring, Kevin
just try
Kelly.
to be. Thank you very much.
All right, well, we've been talking an awful lot about the weight issue as it relates to Arturo Gatti. We're going to find out whether or not it will have an effect on him. That match is coming up, Arturo Gatti and Eric Jakubowski. Let's take you back downstairs to Jim Lampley.
Thank you, JB. What a tumultuous career Arturo Gatti is having. In 1998, he lost 3 consecutive fights, all of them rousing battles against Angel Manfredi and twice against Ivan Robinson. Then, justifiably, he took several months off to rejuvenate his body. Came back August 14, 1999, against a vastly underqualified opponent named Reyes Munoz, who had been out of the ring for more than a year prior to entering against Gatti, and it was a disaster. First round knockout, and Reyes Munoz was taken to a hospital near the gambling facility in Foxwoods, Connecticut for observation. Came back in February, 6 months later. You know what happened against Gamache. You've already seen it. And just like Reyes Munoz before him, Joey Gamache was taken from being knocked out by Gatti to a hospital for observation. In those 2 fights, Gatti landed 74 punches, and his opponents landed only 16. They were brutal mismatches, and Arturo Gatti is still being matched that way. The man who took this fight on less than 1 week's notice, Eric Jakubowski, has been out of the ring for 384 days, coming in, and it does not look good.
Well, you're right, Jim. These have been mismatches. This has gone on throughout the history of prize fighting. We just don't see these kinds of fights that often between headline fighters and tomato cans, as they are called in boxing. This is the last of such fights that are supposed to help restore Gatti after those 3 hard-fought fights, killer fights really, in '98. He's going to fight now at welterweight. He himself admits that if they had day of weigh-ins, he would have had a fight at higher weights from the start of his career, where he should have been. And they're pointing toward a possible match with Oscar De La Hoya if De La Hoya can beat Shane Mosley in June.
There were other opponents who were listed for the fight before Jakubowski. They were regarded as less qualified once put under the microscope. There's conflicting information about Jakubowski's record. In front of me, I have a piece of paper that says he's 20-6. You saw the information there, which had been given to us at HBO, 19-4. That listing said 14 KOs. I have written information that says he has only 4 KOs. One of his fights was against his brother, and this is highly questionable stuff. Now here comes Arturo Gatti, looking, as Larry Merchant said, for one more easy victory to set himself up for a possible date with Oscar De La Hoya in the fall.
In my judgment, the flap over his weight, while unfair to him, as having a beneficial result because New York and New Jersey are doing day of weigh-ins in the mornings from now on.
Well, and typical of Arturo's whole career, people are talking about Arturo Thunder Gatti. He's not the headliner on this card, but he's gotten as much ink as anybody. Just as during his 3 consecutive losses on HBO, he didn't lose an ounce of his fan popularity. 31 wins, 4 losses, including those 3 in a row in 1998, 26 KOs, only 3 rounds fought since 1998, and we don't expect him to have to work too long tonight.
Gentlemen, here at Madison Square Garden from Panics USA Main Events and your King of Beers Budweiser, we go to the welterweight division. This bout scheduled for 10 rounds. The judges assigned at ringside, scoring on a 10-point must system, will be George Colon, Ron McNair, and Fred Ucci. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Wayne Kelly. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing silver trimmed with red and blue, and weighing in at 145 pounds. He comes to us from Whiting, Indiana, with a record of 20 victories, 4 KOs to his credit, with only 6 losses. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Eric Jakubowski. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white, trimmed with blue, and weighing in at 149 pounds. From Jersey City, New Jersey, his professional record, an outstanding 31 victories, 26 by KO, with 4 losses. Ladies and gentlemen, the former junior lightweight champion of the world, Arturo Thunder Gatti.
Center of the ring. Cheap seconds only, center of the ring. All right, gentlemen, of boxing rules of New York State Athletic Commission. I expect a clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Shake hands, come out boxing at the bell. Good luck.
All right, Arturo Gatti looking to make a short appearance here tonight against a pasty-looking opponent whose brother once fought Julio Cesar Chavez.
Jakubowski said to us yesterday, well, I saw the mistake Gamache made. He stood in front of Arturo. I'm not going to do that. We shall see.
Jakubowski reminds me of an old story about a boxing manager, Johnny Gray. He would load up guys and take them to Ohio, and they would only say, bring them back alive. alive, Johnny Gray. Not if you win or if you lose. Just come back alive. Bring them back alive.
Jakubowski wants to go back alive to Whiting, Indiana. And Gotti starts off conservatively as Jakubowski, true to his word, is moving side to side. Now he takes a left hand to the body and is willing for a moment to stand and throw at Gotti. Jakubowski gets in, 2 left hooks. Crowd likes it.
I think that could be the worst mistake he can make tonight, trying to hit this guy. He loves it.
Well, that's a mistake Gamache made.
Box him and stay out of that fight.
2 good body shots by Gotti. 2 right hands upstairs by Jakubowski. And a left hook by Jakubowski, giving a much better account of himself than I certainly would have expected. And I think others at ringside are equally as surprised.
And already there appears to be a little bit of a welt under the right eye of Gotti.
Well, as you know, in the old days when we had Gotti fighting against quality fighters like Manfredi and Ivan Robinson, we used to say he started swelling coming out of the dressing room.
And then bleeding on the way.
That's right. Bleeding during the introductions.
Boy, he's going down to the body.
Yeah, and now he's going to set up upstairs shots with those body shots. Not worrying too much about whether Jakubowski lands.
You've got to be a world-class fighter to exchange fight punches with a man like Gotti. You just can't be a guy who hasn't fought in a year.
384 days out of the ring for Eric Jakubowski before coming in against Arturo.
Jack should just run and jab, run, jab, run, jab.
Arturo with 2 more good shots to the body. Now Jakubowski starting to bunch his elbows at rib side, and that's going to lead to the upstairs shots.
Oh, those body punches have been so damaging now.
Right hand lands. Jakubowski momentarily drops his hands. Gotti steps in. And Eric shows he's got a little bit of professional skill before Gotti deposits him on the seat of his pants with the left hook.
6. It was those body punches that led to that. Now, how do you feel, man? Can I continue?
Some in the crowd and at ringside were urging Jakubowski to stay down, but he wants to come out for the second round, and he will.
How you feeling? Too carried away up there, Ben. You all right? You all right? You got to stay with the boxing, man. Okay, breathe. Breathe and relax now, okay? You're making them miss them big shots. That's what you want. Stay with the boxing for a minute, okay?
You can move your foot a little bit, bounce a little bit, okay? Bounce a little bit. Go the ring. You're working too much in position. You understand what I say? Move your foot, okay? You're going to go in this run. Don't try so hard, okay?
Close your eyes. What we have here is Arturo. What we have here is Arturo Gotti beating up on a college kid who wants to be a social worker.
That left hook he had, world class.
It is, isn't it?
It doesn't matter who it is, they would hurt.
And if I'm not mistaken, this may be the first full welterweight that Gotti has fought.
Jacko is jabbing and moving like his corner told him this time. Good, keep moving. Don't do that, just keep moving.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That'll do.
That's it.
Jakubowski looking as he reels from side to side in the ring, not unlike the way Reyes Munoz looked up in Connecticut last year.
Oh, that's when your legs are doing the talking.
All right, Arturo, that's enough. Go back to the big leagues. Right?
Yeah, I remember being knocked down like that, and you see your legs trembling, and you say, don't do that in front of this crowd. And your legs say, yeah,
you can't
this is
control it at all.
embarrassing. And you said, don't, and they do.
He probably thought at the moment he got up that he was going to be okay,
yeah,
right?
he knew, but the legs, they have a voice of their own.
I did catch him in the first round.
He cut you that shit right on the button. I mean, I caught him.
Eric Jakubowski talking about exactly what we talked about. He caught Arturo with 2 left hooks in the first round.
Oh, they'll go back home and say,
Oh, yeah.
I did get him once, didn't he? Yep.
Absolutely, yeah.
Give me another drink.
Fight.
Buy me another. I got him with 2.
I put some swelling under his eye.
Yeah.
Here's the end of the fight. Uppercut, right cross.
Yeah, see, I almost kicked him.
Boom, shakalaka. So Arturo Gatti has a 3rd consecutive win in a 3rd consecutive egregious mismatch. And for the moment, the New York State Athletic Commission and the promoters who put this card together appear to have escaped any dangerous situation. There is no gurney at ringside. Jakubowski is not yet headed to a hospital. And a big sigh of relief is being breathed around the arena. They dodged one right there. Let's go into the ring for the official particulars on the KO with Michael Buffer.
Gentlemen, referee Wayne Kelly calls a halt to this bout. The official time, 40 seconds of round number 2. Your winner by TKO victory. He's bringing thunder to the welterweight division, Arturo Thunder Gatti.
Anybody.
Anybody.
That must be a body.
Final punch stat numbers. And this is tantamount to looking at the statistics in the Georgia Tech Cumberland game that Tech won 222-0. Total punches, Gatti lands 44-19 for Jakubowski and 84-51 thrown. That's in 4 minutes of action. Power punches. When a fighter lands 39 of 62 power punches, you have looked at a wipeout. And let's see what Arturo has to say for himself as he looks down the road toward bigger and more competitive things. Larry.
All right, thank you. Arturo, congratulations. Now, that's the first time you've ever fought a welterweight. You feel any difference?
Well, it's a real welterweight. This is the first time. And, yeah, I mean, a punching bar is harder. And I was kind of slow tonight. You know, I was hard on my legs because I was slow. And, you know, my upper body I wanted to throw, my legs didn't follow too good. But, you know, we'll see on the next one how I feel at 47. And if I don't, I like it at 47. But
well, why is that? Is 147 not a good weight for you then?
No, it's great. 147 is good for me. I feel comfortable on it. But it was the first time tonight that I trained as a welterweight and to fight as a welter 147. It was kind of hard on me, but I like to fight at 147, definitely.
Are you through with these type of fights? Do you want to go back up to the big leagues now?
Well, I think I should. You know, and I came back. I needed these fights for for myself because I had some tough fights. And you know, my manager, he's the one that gets my fights. And you know, I fight whoever my manager brings. And I think it's time for us to step up.
And you want to
make a position.
And you want to fight Oscar De La Hoya if he wins next month?
Definitely in September. If hopefully it's possible, I'd love to fight Oscar De La Hoya at the end of the year.
You think you have a big enough punch against a big, good, or maybe outstanding welterweight?
I think he's a great fighter, he's the best in the world. But hey, I'm 147 pounds. I want to fight the best. So Oscar is the best. So I should have an opportunity to fight him also.
Thank you very much,
you, Larry.
Jim.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Larry. And thank you, Arturo. Congratulations, incidentally, to Arturo's sister on her wedding today. I'm sure JB feels the same way.
No doubt about it, Jim. And I'm also pleased to hear that Gatti wants to move up in quality of opponents indeed. All right, folks, here in New York City, the big event coming up later tonight. Of course, the championship match between Lennox Lewis and Michael Grant, the 2 tallest and heaviest guys combined ever to fight for a heavyweight championship. To take a look at Lennox Lewis, just arriving a few seconds ago, looking absolutely calm and confident indeed. He says he wanted to fight the best young guy out there, and Michael Grant indeed is that guy. Well, with this upcoming championship bout, I think it's only appropriate to let's take a look, a snapshot look at who these 2 big men are and the routes they took to tonight's championship fight. Tonight, 2 huge men will soon do battle for the heavyweight championship of the world. Lennox Lewis, the established champion, faces the up-and-coming challenger, Michael Grant. For Lewis, he's at the pinnacle of his career.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis.
With his second straight dominant performance against Evander Holyfield, Lewis, for the first time in his career, enjoys public support as the top heavyweight in the world. Since then, as is all too often the case in boxing, politics intervened.
2020 Sports.
Lennox Lewis was stripped of his WBA title. Lewis scheduled to fight Michael Grant at the Garden.
All because Lewis is facing the dangerous Michael Grant instead of the WBA mandatory challenger John Ruiz, best known for being demolished in all of 19 seconds at the hands of David Tua, currently ranked number 6 in the same division.
As far as what the WBA and Don King's trying to do to me, it's just politics, and they can't beat me in the ring, so they're trying to beat me outside the ring. Anything to try and get the belts from me, but still, I stay positive every time, and the whole world knows I'm undisputed.
But why fight the tougher Michael Grant? A gifted fighter who is younger and bigger than Lewis, whom some consider to be the heir apparent in the heavyweight division.
I think one thing was he had going for him. He wasn't a Don King boxer, and I felt that, you know, he has to eat some food as well.
I don't think he thinks much of Grant today, and I think that's exactly why he's fighting him. Fight him now before he improves, because Michael Grant is definitely a work in progress.
He's just what we call hurry come up. That means he came up in a hurry. That means he's going to go in a split second.
However, with all of Lewis's legal distractions and possibly overconfidence creeping in, is there an opportunity for Grant to upset the two-time champ?
I think his inexperience in big fights is a big factor, because Michael Grant hasn't been in against a boxer like me. He hasn't been through what I've been through. You know, he's been swimming in the shallow end, and I'm going to take him into the deep end and drown him.
And nothing has ever been as right.
Michael Grant is a little bit different. For one thing, he sings in a church choir as well as in the locker room before every fight.
I like singing. It's pretty much, to me, it is definitely a feel-good sensation. You know what I mean? I like to sing, especially when you're on key.
The colossal Grant, a one-time four-sport potential superstar, now finds himself facing boxing's biggest challenge. Although he got off to a late start, Grant's size and athleticism have generated enormous buzz as the next great heavyweight.
I'm pretty much the most gifted heavyweight out there right now, because the ability, the talent, the want, the will is already there. Now we just got to go and get it.
I've seen every great and near great heavyweight of my time. I haven't seen any with the potential to be as good as Michael. He has everything it takes for greatness.
Undefeated, Grant has amassed 22 knockouts in 31 professional fights against the current class of top heavyweight contenders, quickly gaining support and much-needed experience.
And Grant beat him to the punch.
However, it may have been Grant's recent war with Andrew Galata, although he had his shaky moments, that best prepared him to be able to make this next step.
No matter how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up and you want to continue and finish.
Michael Grant has made a big case for himself tonight in adversity.
If Grant had blown out Galata, I would give Grant no chance in this fight at all. None. Because he had to go through that. And by it happening then and him surviving it, he's gotten a chance now to have found out something about himself, to have improved, not just technically, but emotionally.
Since the Galata fight, he believes that he can beat Lewis. The will to win is a great weapon. And Lewis haven't shown that in his whole career. Michael has shown it.
So tonight, Michael Grant finds himself in a big-time title fight against a seasoned champion. Can Grant maximize his potential to upset the substantially more experienced Lennox Lewis? When two men this big collide, anything can happen.
All right, back here, of course, Lennox Lewis wants to defend his title successfully. He's talked about the need, from his standpoint, to look impressive in his title defense. Well, certainly no one knows Lennox Lewis any better than the three-time heavyweight champion and the man who was the most influential fighter in the 90s, Evander Holyfield. Evander, thanks a lot for joining us here.
Thank you.
You know, we talked about nobody knows Lennox Lewis any better. You fought him now 24 rounds. Size up what your guy, Michael Grant, will have to do. And I say your guy because you guys are the best of friends. You were in his wedding.
What will he have to do to knock out Lennox Lewis?
Well, Mike will have to be very aggressive. He cannot wait on Lennox. Lennox fight in a very slow pace, and he really don't handle pressure well. So Mike has to fight very aggressive.
You talk about Lennox fighting at a very slow pace. Admittedly, it's a very awkward style. What makes him so difficult? You looked much better the second time you fought Lennox Lewis than the first. What makes him so difficult, so awkward?
Well, for one thing, you know, styles make fight. You know, his height make a big difference, but it should make a big difference with Michael Grant, because Mike is taller and got longer arms. So by Mike being aggressive, he can get to him. You know, by still me being aggressive, he still had the longer reach, and he can still take a step back and still harm me with his jab. But you know what, Mike, if Mike fight very aggressive and throw a lot of punches, then he can't block them punches from Mike.
No one has had any bigger heart in fighting than Evander Holyfield, but play the what-if game with me. If you were 6'7", 250 pounds like your guy, Michael Grant, how would you then fight Lennox Lewis?
Well, the big difference is the experience that I have. I've been fighting for 30 years. So, you know, that plays a big part on Lennox's part, because he do have a lot of experience. So if you wait on a guy who have more experience, then he's going to outthink you. You know, and what Michael Grant have is youth on his side. He's 27. If he's strong, he's a lot stronger and should have more energy. So his chance of winning, he will have to fight very aggressively.
Now, you know, this might just make for good debating, Evander, but Lennox Lewis said that it would be a major mistake for Michael Grant to crowd him and to rush him early, as you may be suggesting. Lennox said he learned from that mistake in the Oliver McCall fight and wouldn't make that mistake again. Would Michael be making a mistake by rushing him and crowding him?
No, he won't. It's only ironic for Lennox to say that, because he wouldn't want Mike to do that. Because Mike may be the only guy that he ever fought with longer arms and can get to him. He cannot lean backwards and get away from a shot from Mike, because Mike's arms is longer. So he wouldn't want that, because he don't fight good inside anyway. And Lennox starts off slow, so he wanted to warm up. Yeah, Lennox is more of a front runner. When things are going his way, he get better and better. But if you put the pressure on him right from the start, then he don't deal with pressures as well.
In no way attempting to diminish the effectiveness that Michael Grant has shown to this point, and the fact that he is a multi-sport star from other sports being converted to a boxer. But let me ask you, is he a legitimate boxer with a legitimate chance tonight against Lennox Lewis?
The only thing you can say, you know, Mike hadn't been tested by fighting a guy with as much experience as Lennox Lewis. And now it's a test time. He either get an A or F. You know, boxing's one of them sports where that now it's put up, shut up. Now it's time for him to go out and prove to people who he is as a person. By, you know, throwing a lot of punches, and he gonna get hit. The point is that can you take it and can you give it?
For all practical purposes, Evander Holyfield has seen Michael Grant from the time he laced up his gloves. He trained with you in your gym. He's trained with you in Houston. Again, I mentioned you in his wedding. You know him emotionally very well. You're an experienced champion. You're accustomed to the big fight event. Emotionally, can Michael Grant cope with what he's going to be dealing with tonight? A big fight, a championship fight.
Well, all fighters have, because every fighter that has been a great champion had to go through it. They had to do it for the first time. This just so happened to be his first day, and it will show you how he dealt with the pressure. Right now, his biggest challenge of himself. You know, everybody have the day that they have to go out there and do it. Everybody dream for the day of being a heavyweight champ of the world. Then when that day comes, it's how do you answer? How do you react under pressure? Now, this is his day. My all great champion had this same day, so it's nothing uncommon. Do I believe he can do it? I believe he can. I did it.
And who's to doubt you, Evander Holyfield? Thank you so very much. I think we'll be hearing more from you. Well, I tell you, between Kevin Kelly and Evander Holyfield, awfully effective up here as you guys have been in the ring. All right, folks, coming up in just a few moments, there will be a featherweight championship between Paul Engel and Junior Jones. As you take a look at Junior Jones, the New York City kid who is hoping to bounce back strongly and take it back to a championship level. He's excited because he has the renowned Teddy Atlas in his corner now. Junior Jones says the passion is back in the fight game for him, and his love is there. All right, for more on this upcoming bout and others, let's take you back downstairs to Jim Lampley.
All right, thank you very much, JB. And incidentally, stay with us and pay attention tonight. This is not going to be one of those long, drawn-out pay-per-view affairs where the main event doesn't come around until somewhere closer to midnight. Things are moving rapidly here tonight. We expect to have the main event going sometime between 11:15 and 11:30, and I'm sure you're all happy to hear that, especially here on the East Coast. George Foreman, let's talk for a moment about one of the vast disparities in the matchup between Lennox Lewis and Michael Grant, and that's experience. We've got a graphic which points up the numerical differences between Lewis and Grant in terms of experience. Lewis with his 105 amateur fights, his 2 appearances in the Olympics, gold medal in 1988. Grant had at best a brief amateur career. Of course, Lewis's pro fights, 37 of them, drawn out over a 12-year period, 11-year period now. We leave open the caliber of the opposition, but Lewis has probably fought a bigger name list of opponents. The way I like to say this is Lennox Lewis had his first fight of this magnitude October 31, Halloween night, 1992. That was before Michael Grant ever laced on a pair of boxing gloves. But you tell me, is all that important, or is it just a bunch of numbers for people to look at?
It's very important, but you can make it all worth nothing by getting in one good right hand early in the fight. You can change all of that, but unless you do as much, it's very important, and it's bad to be on the opposite end of it.
Knowing Grant the way you do you expect him to be overwhelmed, bothered by the crowd in Madison Square Garden, the atmosphere of a heavyweight title fight, or is he ready for all that?
Well, he's into himself, so he's not going to be bothered by this atmosphere, I can tell you that. It will bother him about being conservative. You're a big man like that. You don't want to throw all your energy away in the first and second round. That may cost him a lot more than just being afraid of the crowd and being shook up.
Those of us who have had the privilege of observing Michael Grant in his developing career, I think are a little surprised at how routinely he's dismissed by some general sports fans. A lot of people suggesting this week that this ought to be an easy win for Lennox Lewis. Larry, like David Letterman, who casually suggested to Lewis that he was fighting a tomato can and ought to knock him out in about 3 rounds. Why is the public so devoid of understanding of Grant's impact already in the heavyweight division?
I don't know. I just assume it's because he hasn't had as much exposure as some other fighters, and I think that people are still wired into the narratives of the familiar fighters of the 90s. Tyson, then Bo, who is now retired, Holyfield, who is still with us, and Lewis, and they just haven't had the time to recognize some of the good young heavyweights coming up. I think that it's fair to suggest that just as in the lower weight divisions, that the time of youth is about to come. We don't know if it's in a person of Michael Grant, but it's going to happen. Lennox Lewis himself has said some interesting things. He first said, you know, I'm not really ready or interested in fighting these young guys if I don't have to. I'd rather fight the guys of my generation. So we asked him why. He says, well, I know they're coming after me, and that's the challenge, but one of these days, they're going to get me. Well, this may be the day.
All right, and I know that you don't think that there's a chance that Grant is so callow and so still forming in terms of experience that he'll be overwhelmed by this event.
He's 27 years old, not going to get a whole lot better. He's had 31 professional fights, including against some really tough customers who may not be big names, but are avoided by many heavyweights, and he has dealt with them better than anybody else who's faced those guys like David Izon and
Obed Sullivan, right, and Andrew Galata, as it turned out,
and Cole, etc. I like youth, I like ambition, I like hunger. We've seen in the lower divisions, as I've said, that that's what counts along with talent. I think experience can be overrated.
All right. That'll be the heavyweight championship fight coming up later tonight. Right now, let's turn our attention to a lower weight class, 126 pounds, and a world championship fight, at least for one of the governing bodies, or so-called governing bodies in this weight class, because Yorkshireman Paul Ingle, a man you saw last April in a spirited challenge against Prince Nassim Hamed in Manchester, England, is getting ready to fight a man who's been waiting a while for his shot at Prince Nassim and has twice blown opportunities to get in position for it. Junior Jones, and there's the tail of the tape. You can see that Jones has a 3-inch height advantage. You can see that he has a 1.5-inch reach advantage. They both weighed in under the 126-pound limit. Paul Engel accepted the suggestion of the New York State Athletic Commission that he not step on an unofficial scale for us, so we don't know what he weighs tonight. Junior Jones went ahead and decided that you should know he weighs 131. Punch that numbers, Larry.
Comparative numbers, Jones a little bit more active. These numbers don't mean a whole lot. The next set of numbers, the jabs, may mean something more because Junior Jones throws a lot of jabs, hasn't been landing many. He has to start landing them, and that will show that he is into the fight. If he doesn't, Engel, who is a very rough guy, can overwhelm him.
Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
Okay, the Paul Engel Jr. Jones fight is scheduled for 12 rounds. There is no standing gate count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
All right. Hometown fight for Junior Jones, who, going back through his amateur career and through the course of his professional career, has almost certainly fought more or as many fights in Madison Square Garden than any other contemporary fighter. 4 losses in his career, 2 of them relatively early when he himself came a cropper against John Michael Johnson and Darrell Pinckney, and he says he wasn't properly conditioned, hadn't made the right kind of commitment at that time. Then later, he slugged it out with Kennedy McKinney on the undercard of Kelly Nassim here in New York and got knocked out in the 4th round, and then was knocked out again in the 4th round by Eric Morales in a bull ring in Tijuana, Mexico. But he's got another chance to make it back to the pinnacle and fight Prince Nassim if he can get past this fight tonight. 47 wins against those 4 losses, 27 KOs for one of the most skilled fighters of the last several years. We've been watching Junior a long time. He was a gifted prospect whose career has left him with lingering frustrations. Of course, he had the 2 great victories over Marco Antonio Barrera at a time when Barrera was regarded as one of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the sport. But he's still missing the brass ring, which would be signified by a victory over Prince Nassim.
I think a fight with Prince Nassim would be his brass ring now or his gold ring because of the money that's entailed. And that's what is at stake for him tonight.
And Junior Jones scored a dramatic 11th round rescue knockout of Richard Evatt a year ago in Manchester, England, on the undercard of Prince Nassim against Paul Engel. In the early rounds of the fight, Evatt totally dominated Junior. Junior looked like he had nothing. But then in the 11th round, produced that dramatic thunderbolt left hook to knock Evatt out and rescue, at that moment, his career. That was the key moment in catapulting him to here, along with a decision win over Tracy Harris Patterson earlier this year. And here comes Engel for his first fight in the United States.
Comes from a town not too far from Sheffield, where Prince Hamed lives. Scarborough, of Scarborough Fair fame. And if you're wondering why he's wearing this camouflage outfit, it's because he's called the Yorkshire Hunter. He often goes out into the moors to train.
I'll get it in. Paul Engel, when told that the weigh-in would be shifted to the day of the fight, threatened to go home and ditch this first appearance in Madison Square Garden in the USA. Not, he said, because he thought it was any great disadvantage to him to weigh in on the day of the fight, but because he did not like the schedule disruption of being told one thing and then asked to do another. Eventually, he was persuaded to stick around and fight this fight tonight. And just as what's at stake for Jones is a shot at Prince Nassim, so too Engel looks for a rematch with Prince Nassim if he can win this fight tonight. His record, 22 wins, the 1 loss to Naz, also on an 11th round knockout, and he has 15 KOs of his own. Since losing to Prince Nassim, he decisioned Manuel Medina in a fight in which he fought to survive in the 12th round with a badly bloodied eye to take the decision and win the title belt that he carries into the ring. And now let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer to set it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Madison Square Garden, New York City, Panics USA, main events, and your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, proud to be your bud, present the co-feature of the evening, sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, along with the IBF and the IBO. The 3 judges scoring this bout on the 10-point bus system will be Don Ackerman, Joe Dwyer, and Don O'Neill. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Steve Smoger. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF IBO Featherweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red trimmed with white and weighing in at 125 1/4 pounds. His professional record, 47 victories, 27 by knockout with 4 losses, and during his career he has captured 5 world title bouts. Ladies and gentlemen, from Brooklyn, New York, he's the challenger tonight. Here is Poison Junior Jones. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing camouflage trimmed with gold and weighing in at 125 1/2 pounds. His professional record, an outstanding 22 victories, including 15 KOs, with only 1 loss. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the pride of Scarborough, England, and the reigning and defending IBF IBO Featherweight Champion of the World, Paul the Hunter Engel.
Gentlemen, you were given your instructions at the ring, and I want you to obey my commands at all times. Respect the bell at all times, and above all, protect yourself at all times. Touch him up. God bless. All right.
So
Donnie.
So Paul Engel is the second British featherweight to come into New York and challenge one of New York's finest, Prince Ahmed, taking on Kevin Kelly. Engel taking on Junior Jones.
Junior Jones now trained by the illustrious Teddy Atlas. Atlas, the man who once schooled Mike Tyson in the gym, later trained Michael Moore to the heavyweight championship of the world, and noteworthy for some of the most memorable corner speeches in the history of the sport. And Junior said, you know, I probably should have been with Teddy a long time ago, but I was reluctant to work with somebody that I knew would be so tough on me. He's been just as tough on me as I thought he'd be, and that's been good.
Junior Jones, he's got a lot of skills.
He does.
If only he could just stay out of fights. Now, this is going to be a test for him tonight to make certain that he can get hit, make sure he lands punches, hit as hard as he can, and stay out of harm's way. Stay off the canvas for the first 3 rounds, and he's got it made. Engel, he's a long way from home. You got to win every round.
And Paul Engel is a guy who may not look like a fighter, but who loves to fight. And the more give and take there is in the bout, the more they trade, the better Paul Engel likes it.
Engel should make certain he doesn't pace himself. Don't save anything for the 12th round.
Engel took a while to get into it against Prince Nassim Hamed. He was outgunned early by Hamed's speed and power, but then in the middle rounds he came on, and a tiring Hamed had trouble holding him off before knocking him out with a thunderbolt in the 11th round. Junior Jones gets to the body early, has had trouble solving Paul Engel's constantly moving head. If I'm Junior, I'm thinking I want to go to the body and try to slow some of that upper body movement down.
Yeah, it's like trying to hit a knuckleball. He has such constant head movement.
Engel is going to the body, a good right-hand body shot. Junior Jones is one of those fighters that it seems he's got to get hit, he's got to get hurt before he can really get into a boxing match.
Junior Jones is at his best when he gets his jab working and boxes behind his very effective jab. And it's hard to get the jab going against somebody with the kind of head movement that Paul Engel brings.
It's really dynamic because not only is he moving his head, he's moving his feet power.
But it's also hard to punch when you're moving your head like that.
No,
so
he's not going to land good shots. You're right.
You got to catch him in between.
All right, between rounds, we are going to take you to Michael Grant's dressing room for a live interview with the challenger as our Nick Charles stands by. Take it, Nick.
And we're with Michael Grant. Michael lacing on his boots. Just woke up from a nap. Unusual to do that before a fight?
Always did it for a fight.
How are you having to bet? Every fighter who fights for a title the first time is entering the great unknown. How are you having to battle, if at all, in your mind, and make this just another fight?
Not battling with it at all. It's just this is the fight. You know, this is the fight that everybody get up for. Everybody come out to see. And I'm more motivated just with that alone than anything.
How do you plan to take away Lennox Lewis's heart and his title?
Just consistency, my belief, my faith, and just my heart and will alone.
Not much margin for error. This guy could fight.
We both will be entering a world where the margin of errors are very small. So I look to be at my very, very best.
You have to take a shot. You think you got to really just go for it and maybe take some risks?
Absolutely. You got to gamble in this. No question about that.
Well, the ring could be a dark, lonely place, or it could be a place to shine. Michael Grant's made it pretty clear what stage he expects to be in. Back to you, Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Nick Charles. Grant says that he'll take some chances, but also says that he thinks he can win with his consistency. That suggests to me that he's looking for a long fight and to get his jab going and try to beat Lewis that way. Round two in Junior Jones versus Paul Engel underway. And by CompuBox numbers in round one, Jones had difficulty being accurate, 19 out of 67, only 9 of 49 jabs. Now, Paul Engel lands a long right hand, the biggest blow of the early fight.
And I think it's real good that Paul Engel is keeping his hands up. He's a solid fighter. He doesn't reach out and throw wild shots. It's hard to really catch him with a counter shot. So Junior Jones is having some big problems thinking about how he's going to land a good jab and effectively come with a right hand behind it.
And another right hand lands for Engel as he seems to be finding something here in round two with right hand leads.
Yeah, he reaches in for the little shots, the things that'll be accurate, not so powerful. He's taking the little things. The old saying is the small foxes that get the sweet grapes.
Jones's punch output seeming to drop just a little bit. Engel kind of hard to find in there.
Jones's mouth is open already, George. Any significance, you think?
Yeah, he fights like that. He has a tendency to just come apart the first couple of rounds. But if he can keep himself stable, 3 or 4 rounds, he'll get a little better. He starts reaching, he breathes out hard with his punches. Engel is so dynamic, moving his upper body back and forward. You just can't get a good shot on him. It really will bewilder you.
If you think you're in pretty good shape and you want to know what true exhaustion is, just stand in front of a mirror and try to do what Paul Engel does for about 6 or 7 minutes.
Oh, it's hard.
Hey. Hold up. Get up, Junior. Easy with the mouth stuff, okay? Ease up, okay? Come on. Looks like there's an abrasion over the left eye of Junior Jones.
Junior already reaching and pawing with the jab.
He's just trying to make him slow down so he can get that right hand shot in. But Engel is too busy moving his upper body.
by Jones. Engel comes back with a wicked body shot of his own. Round 2 has been a good round for Paul Engel, as Junior Jones simply couldn't find him in there.
Control it. Don't rush it. Don't get fucking carried away. Don't have a rush of blood too late. All right. It's all in control here. You're going to look good. You're going to look fucking good, believe me. You're going to look good.
Impressed with he's being in control where you feel he's in control of you. I want you to back him up this round. Stop this. It's going to be too late after 5 rounds, 6 rounds. We'll have to catch up then. Okay. Now stop the crap. Take a deep breath through your nose.
Keep it clean, Junior. He claims you bit him.
Take it through your nose and let it out your mouth. Now give him some water. Okay.
Bit him.
Now listen to me. Listen, please. That jab, you're drifting with it. I want it to be a hard snapping jab where you can't count him with the right hand off. All right? Yeah. Don't allow
the right hand lead that Engel gets in. He's so defensive-minded as he comes that you tend to forget that he might punch on one of those occasions when he's moving around. Very difficult fighter to fight. Prince Ahmed had a lot of problems with him.
Well, the really great bobbers and weavers, the guys who can move their heads all the time, set up both their offense and their defense from that upper body movement.
Did you hear that the referee said in the corner to Junior Jones that Engel claimed that Junior bit him during one of those clinches?
Well, he could have said he spit on him too. It's the language barrier.
Yeah, I heard there was a problem with Jones's mouth. I thought he meant that Jones was talking to him.
Well, Junior's coming out here to make a statement, try to back Engel up, and let's see if he can do it.
Yeah, you heard Teddy Atlas saying, stop with the crap, back him up.
You gotta jab the body. When you see a guy like Engel moving back and forward, side, left and right, jab at his chest. Go right at the chest. Forget about the hitting the head.
Now Junior almost lands a right hand.
And you'll find that if you aim at the chest, you'll get the head anyway.
Jones beginning to feel as though he might be able to find the range on a right hand.
That jab hit his chest. That's what you do. You jab at the shoulders, the chest, and it takes the effect out of his punches later on, and plus you find his head eventually.
So there's a hard right hand body shot by Junior Jones.
Come on. Come on now. Get your heads up now. Come on.
Hasn't been able exactly to back Engel up, but has been able to find the range on the right hand, both to the head and the body, a couple times here in the third round.
Junior Jones will find if he just lay his left hand out at the chest, he'll be more accurate and he'll land a lot of jabs to the head. Stop aiming at the head.
Look at the head movement. And look at how Engel is able to set up the 2 body shots and the left hand to the head by coming off of that bob and weave. Throws Jones to the canvas. These two guys don't like each other.
Paulie, that's a warning now behind the head. Don't pull him down, okay? Box.
Junior tends to get off balance when he gets in clinches and goes to the canvas often like that.
He has weak legs. That's the problem.
And his legs have looked a little shaky in the first 3 rounds here.
Very weak. Brian Engel better beware. This guy can also punch.
Yeah, Junior's got a big right hand.
Weak legs but strong fist.
When he was 118.
Low blow by Engel there.
When Junior was 118 and 122 pounder, he was very, very strong at those weights. At 126, he hasn't proved that he is that strong yet.
Listen, very clearly, give me that towel. Very clearly, very important. All right? Yeah, I'm listening. You can't just jab and fall out because then the guy just walks in. I want your feet set. I don't want you moving where you're on a bicycle. I want you stepping. I want you set on your feet. I want those feet set so you're ready to punch.
All right, got you.
I want your feet set. This guy don't know how to go backwards fighting. Believe me, he really don't. Can you step and stand there and catch him coming in and hold him? Yeah, you can do that too. But you can back him up. You don't know what to do when you back him up.
2 rounds ago, the second round.
Ouch. Ouch.
Now, right there. You see Engel pointing to his chest and saying that Junior Jones bit him in the chest. We got some Yorkshire beef there, Jim.
That's not as easy as biting a man on the ear. Harold, how'd you score through a 3?
Okay, Jim, I got a 29-28, 2 rounds to 1, Paul Engel. I thought that he was effective, he was aggressive, and they won rounds 2 and 3. He's forcing a fight and landed a cleaner shot. So 2-1, Paul Engel.
Hard left hand inside by Engel. Junior misses over the top with the right hand. Jabs through 3 rounds via CompuBox numbers. Engel, a very creditable 37 out of 85, 44%. Jones, 22 out of 129, only 17% accuracy. Trying to find the head when, as George Foreman points out, he should target the body instead.
In the last 20 seconds or so, Junior Jones has landed a pretty good left and right.
His corner told him not to retreat so much, to stand right on the ball of his feet and just throw shots from there. Keep his defense set, and he's done well if and when he's tried it.
Yeah, Teddy Atlas asking him to step, meaning I don't want you to bounce away. I want you to step aside and fire back when the guy comes at you.
So I really want him to stand right there on guard. You just work your pivot.
Good shot, good shot, good shot.
And he's backing away again. His corner told him not to do that.
And there's a straight right hand that goes up through Engel's guard and a left to the body, and now Engel wobbled just a little bit, and Junior tries to rally. New York crowd rooting for their own as Junior Jones produces some exciting moments in round 4.
Let's see if Engel continues to charge in recklessly after that barrage.
Junior Jones has been in this position before, where he's taking some punishment and the guy's coming after him. He's experienced at this. Engel may be doing something he doesn't know about.
Don't punch, don't punch. Step.
If you're going to follow this guy around, throw some shots all the time.
Left right up under the chin on the top of the chest by Junior Jones. Engel lands a long right hand. Jones lands a right in return.
Jones has to make Engel think twice and 3 times before coming in so freely. If he can't do it, Engel will just overwhelm him.
He's overwhelming him with a lot of movement. He's not throwing a lot of shots. Hits him with one good shot every now and then. That's not enough for a slick fighter like that. You got to hit him a lot.
Don't punch, step out now. Dude, keep your head up. It's all right, baby, come on.
Engel hits him with a good right hand and then stands back and admires work.
What a well-conditioned fighter Paul Engel is. What a constant energy buzz.
All right, Donnie boy.
Everything you're doing is perfect, all right? Everything you're doing. See, I just want you to just start thinking about things. What you're doing is right, totally right. Every now and again, you get in bust, you've got to start coming up, all right? Start coming up, just coming down for it. Just coming down for the shot skin. You can knock him out on Matt Millen shots and start hitting him with it, all right?
It's very difficult to land clean punches on a guy moving so much as Engel as you see throughout the fight, bobbing, weaving, ducking. But when he stood his ground there in that fight, that body shot was the best punch of the fight for Jones. It's going to take more than 1 or 2 of those to slow up Engel.
Jones more accurate in round 4. CompuBox numbers showing him 27 of 75 in the 4th round. By far Junior's best offensive round. Engel was 18 of 43, throwing fewer punches, particularly after getting cracked in the ribs. Harold Letterman's got an even fight going to the 5th.
Don't punch, don't punch. Don't punch, Junior.
What you want to do with a guy who's moving his head so slickly like that, beat him around the body and make him start protecting his body. Get his shoulders, elbows down beside his shoulders, drops his hand a little bit, and use your jab. And that's what Junior Jones is starting to do now.
Don't punch, don't punch. Step, step.
Junior Jones seems to be waiting all night to exchange one right hand.
There's a big left hand by Engel, or at least as big as Engel can throw it. He doesn't have what we think of as punching power for this class here in America.
So you don't want to get into a punching contest. You want to make certain that you throw right, left. Don't throw one out there, because if he catch you throwing it, he's going to get you and beat you to it. There's that right hand by Junior Jones. He's hoping that Engel just throw one in exchange. All night those counter punches wait like that.
Push off. That's it. Push off. Push off. That's the way to get out.
Engel knows he's trying to catch him with that right hand also, so he doesn't exchange the right hand.
Get off his
all
neck,
left hook.
That's good.
Jones going back to the body. Engel blocking effectively with his elbows. Jones trying to bang around the guard. Finally jams his right hand right through the middle of Engel's gloves.
Now Engel is starting to come forward without moving his head. Got to keep your head moving.
Left hook brought blood from Jones's mouth.
Yep, the little left hook inside landed accurately for Engel.
There's that right hand again.
And another little left inside by Paul Engel.
No punch, no punch.
Pretty even fight as we go to the closing seconds of round 5.
Engel goes bob, weave, and throws one shot. You got a bob, hit, weave, hit.
Junior Jones starting to land some right hands here and there. Paul Engel doing a lot of effective work with his left hook.
Thank you, sir.
You took off a little bit that round.
Win or lose.
Very close fight. He's ahead by 1 point.
That's
one
right.
round. You understand? Give me that towel. Now what I want you to do is not lazy with that jab, Junior. You know the round, not this round, but the round before, you know you hurt him, right?
Yeah, I know.
All right, now listen. The reason you hurt him was you froze him on the outside. You stepped in behind the jab with the right hand. Don't wait for him to come to you.
Okay.
Now this round, I want a hard jab, not that lazy jab. Not
Boxing brilliantly. Boxing brilliantly. Okay? Boxing brilliant. No problem at all here. Don't get careless. All I want, go get careless. Still give him respect. Got the right hand. Keep coming up. Keep stepping to the right. Looking to one.
Here's Engel's left hook that drew blood in what is turning out to be a crisp and close fight.
There's a little cut inside the knot under the left eye of Junior Jones. Round 6 begins, and Harold Letterman differing from Teddy Atlas. Atlas scoring it with Engel up a point. Letterman now has Jones ahead by a point.
I'm sorry, Harold, but I agree with Teddy Atlas.
I'm not so, because Engel moves left, right, and will not throw but one punch at a time. He's lost the edge, and plus, Junior Jones is not breathing out of his mouth so desperately as he was in the first couple of rounds.
And looking at Junior Jones here, as opposed to the Junior Jones we saw a year ago in Manchester, England against Richard Evett, you have to think that the association with Teddy Atlas has had some beneficial effects. No knock against Tommy Brooks, the man who was training Junior before. Junior acknowledges that Tommy Brooks is a terrific trainer, but Tommy is dealing with Mike Tyson, and that takes a lot of time.
Engel is throwing one shot at a time. You got to throw many. If he can just land a 1, 2, 3, he can drop this guy, Junior Jones.
Straight right hand, straight left hand for Engel. Doesn't have a lot of punching power, George.
But it takes 3 shots, 3 good ones.
Engel able to duck under Jones's left and right again. Through most of the action, Engel has been the quicker and busier fighter. Not in round 4, when Junior Jones threw more punches than Engel did.
No, no, no. No, no, come on, come on.
Third time Junior's been down on the canvas. all of them ruled
You
slips.
cannot behind the head. I know, but next time
But
it's
together,
a point, okay?
they add up to a question about
You keep
Junior's
your head up
balance
also.
and
Let's
leg
go.
strength going to the latter part of the fight.
No, the second warning, yeah. If he does that again, he's going to put the referee on the spot where he has to take a point away.
Steve Smoger telling Paul Engel that he'll deduct for holding behind the head.
Now Engel is mixing it up, throwing a lot of shots.
And
that's what you
yells at him in the middle of the ring.
That's what you got to do. You can't depend on one punch every 2 rounds.
And still Engel with the constant upper body movement, the bob weave in and out, straight left hand right on the button.
Watch your head. It's all right.
Junior telling Engel to watch his head.
No, Paul. That's it. Punch out of there. Very good.
Well, between rounds here, we're going to go to Nick Charles for a live visit with heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis, in Lewis's dressing room. Lewis, in the days before this fight, almost mystically calm. Let's see if that's still the case. Nick?
Okay, Jim. Lennox, you do this every time. Come to the dressing room and fall asleep. What's the theory behind that? Were you tired, or is it a way to just take off an edge?
Just relax, focusing on the fight, and you know, penetrating the fight coming up.
Speaking of the fight, Michael Grant said for weeks he's going to come and get you because you don't like pressure. How do you really believe he's going to open this fight against you?
I think he's going to be tentative. You know, I think about coming after me, he's just blowing smoke screens.
If he's tentative and cautious, is there a chance you're just going to try to catch him cold, wipe him out before he has a chance to get dangerous, or would you rather not play safe but simply outbox him?
Yeah, I believe that I got too much talent for him, and I'm going to go in there and show it.
As you sit here, deep in the belly of Madison Square Garden, separated literally by a concrete wall from Michael Grant, how is your big fight experience at this moment, moments before the fight, giving you an edge?
It's something that I'm used to, and I've been in this position many times, and it's just another moment that you have to go through before a fight, and I'm fully prepared for it.
And this will be your defining moment, perhaps?
Perhaps.
Prediction?
Lennox Lewis will be victorious.
Jim, back to you.
Well, breathless excitement as always in the interview with Lennox Lewis. George, did my eyes deceive me, or is the champion beginning to sprout those first few silver hairs on?
Yeah, there's a need for Miss Clairol there.
But I guess by your standards, that means he's got a chance to get really good now.
There you are.
Certainly he's relaxed.
You know, when you go into the fights, I'd spar with the younger guys, and I'd have a little specks of gray around my chin. I noticed they would attack me, but the days when I shave it off, they would back away. So I don't know if it's a good idea to come into a fight like that.
Well, Grant says he's going to attack, and of course you took care of that by shaving everything clean.
Every day. I have no gray hair.
Into the second half of the battle between Junior Jones and Paul Engel.
Engel is very conservative with his right hands. He knows that Junior Jones is trying to catch him counter with one good straight right hand. Throws left hooks, but he will not exchange right hand.
Well, I think unless he can wear Junior down, Engel is planning to trust the judges here.
Has the right hand. If only he can catch Engel coming forward with it, he'll drop him. Engel does not come forward with the right hand, only with the left hook. That's one. He stands too far away doing it. Oh, that's a good one. Best punch of the night. A good right hand by Engel.
Junior Jones having trouble finding Engel here in the seventh. Engel blocking Jones's left hand with his glove, and he does so again. Jones missing over the top. Engel pops him twice on the top of the skull. Engel able to make contact. Jones having difficulty finding Engel. And the right eye of Junior Jones.
There's that counter right hand.
There, yep.
He's been waiting all night.
And another one lands too. Left to the body, left upstairs by Engel, but Junior Jones landing those two blunt force counter right hands.
His corner should caution Engel, just stay busy. Forget about the good hard right hand. Just stay busy.
Good work with the left hand there by Engel to the body and then back to the head before he moved away.
Engel just casually picked up that left hand enough to protect.
Junior Jones has never lost a decision.
Johnny boy.
All 4 of his losses were by
Put your
KO.
hands together and back this guy up now these rounds. I want 3 rounds in a row. I want to ask you a question. Rinse his mouth out. Okay, Ted. Listen to me. How long you been boxing? How many years? Including the amateurs. 20 years? Okay, 20 years. Have you been through a lot in 20 years? Huh? You have, right? Probably more than you're going through even here, right? Okay, you got 15 minutes to make that 20 years worthwhile. 15 minutes, is that a lot? Think about the 20 years, all the things you've done, the sacrifice. Close your eyes. The sacrifice, all the things you've done, the hard times when you were away from your family. 15 minutes, is that worth it? Go in there for 15 minutes, back this guy up.
Seconds out.
All right, give me the mouth.
Okay, Teddy. Teddy Atlas at his best, trying to whip his steed home.
I wondered when we were going to get the inevitable Teddy Atlas, this is your life speech, and Junior was cruising for it, and he got it. Harold, how do you have it through 7?
Well, you know, Jim, I tell you, I think that Paul Engel grabbed round 6 and 7. He's got Junior busted up, and he's got a lead, 4 rounds to 3. So we got a 67-66 Engel.
Oh, but the right hand of Junior Jones is starting to find home now. He never should have tried to mix the right hands up with Junior Jones. Just stay busy with your left jab and your left hook.
Jones landing the big right hands right on cue. Following the remember the 20 years, he got 15 minutes to make them worthwhile speech by Teddy Atlas. In round 7 by CompuBox numbers, Engel was 29 of 44, doing a paint job on Junior Jones at 66%. Now Jones is coming back with the appropriate fury.
Boy, what a way to motivate a man to fight. Tell him 20 years can go down the drain in 15 minutes.
Well, he's right. Junior's fighting for his career here.
What a motivating speech.
We saw it the night that Teddy Atlas trained Michael Moorer to his epic victory over Evander Holyfield to win the heavyweight title. What do you want to do with your life? Was the memorable line. We're in the 8th round of a 12-round championship fight. Thus the 15-minute reference. 5 more 3-minute rounds available to Jones. And Junior's having a big round in round 8. Much more focused than was the case in 6 and 7. Now it's Engel who misses.
And he misses and retreats. This is something he wouldn't have done in the first 2 rounds. You got to stay on him, Engel, if you got to win every round.
So in the first minute of this round, Engel tasted what's left of Junior Jones's power, and it had an effect. You suspect the fight is still there to be won by either man on the scorecards.
I think it's to be lost by Engel. Had everything going for himself, and he stops and allows this man to get a second win.
There's a left hand by Engel that knocks Junior back.
It hurts.
And now Junior's leg's a little wobbly.
He's hurt.
I don't think Engel knows how badly he hurt Junior with that left hand.
Well, they remember the Alamo and win one for the Gipper speech. Got Junior Jones back into the fight.
Okay. You got 12 minutes now. Is 12 minutes too much? Is 12 minutes too much to be happy for 30, 40, 50 years? Right, let's be strong for 12 minutes. It's very close. Spit that out. It's very close. You need all these rounds. I want to win each round, but I only want to think of them one at a time. Okay. Win this next round. Swallow that. Take this water. Okay. One round at a time. Now listen, when you backed him up, didn't you know? Leave it alone. Didn't you see how ordinary he was when you backed him up? He's a different guy when you back him up. Now stop letting him be.
Take another drink. Nice and easy, nice moves. Boxing brilliant. Keep that fending off going. Start stamping on his toes a little bit. Start fucking stamping on your toes. Start take a full rest.
I'll win this round. You know, against both Prince Ahmed and Medina, Engel got very tired at the end of the fight. As from all this activity, he has earned it, that fatigue. If Junior can stay in there, win another round, then the championship rounds are where he might pull the fight out.
12 minutes to go. Harold Letterman's scorecard is even, buoyed by the first Emmy-nominated speech by Teddy Atlas for the evening. Junior Jones produced a huge round 8, throwing 90 punches, landing 29 of them. Only 38 punches thrown by Engel in that frame.
I had it 5 rounds to 3 for Engel.
What a body shot.
Let him out, let him out, let him out. Push off.
Junior has
Way to go,
put more mustard into both his body shots and his upstairs offerings since that speech by Teddy.
Engel does the proper bobbing and weaving and gets close, and he doesn't do anything else.
The trainer who brought Junior up through the amateurs. Oh, and there's a right hand right on the button, and Engel goes down on his butt. 4.
He waited all night.
6, 7. Hey, how we feel, baby?
Huge on the scorecards. Could set up a 2-point round for Junior. Engel still has his legs, but not all of them. Junior's giving it all he's got. New York crowd on its feet.
Very good. Step out, step out, step out.
This is a man who's fought more than 20 fights in Madison Square Garden, amateur and professional. Oh, what a body shot.
Well, Engel is moving, but a different direction right now. And here he comes again.
Remember, Junior Jones doesn't have the strongest of legs. You can still get in there and mix it up with him, too. Fight him back. Fight him back.
Commits, you can counter and hurt him.
You can hurt him. His legs aren't that strong, so Engel should mix it up. Don't run from him.
He was throwing a big shot at Kennedy McKinney the night that McKinney caught him with a right hand and knocked him out. Back to the body.
That body shot hurt.
Junior showing desire and professionalism with the rally in the 8th and 9th rounds.
Engel gets into good right hands and he back away. Get 2 in.
But he momentarily reversed the momentum of the round with that shot.
He's got to get 3 shots in, and he can have Junior Jones on the canvas as well.
A 2-point round for Jones, which may have lifted him into the lead in the fight.
Hey, you know what? Now listen, 9 minutes now.
Mr. Silly mistake. You're totally in control, all right? You're totally controlled, but that might have been a 10 round, all right? Don't get panicking. You're still in front, right? You're in front. You got no stay cool.
You got to go out and win every round. Rinse this out, rinse that out, and I'm going to explain something to you. Now take a swallow. You caught him with the right hand because you just threw it behind the jab. Before that, listen very closely.
Watch Engel's feet as he gets hit here. He was off the ground. He was moving forward, and both feet were off the canvas when he was hit.
All night he was avoiding the exchanges. Got caught.
The fight is on.
10th round of a scheduled 12.
Engel's corner's got to tell him to mix it up and fight. Stop this bobbing and weaving and landing one shot.
Junior Jones is alive and well and can be found in Midtown Manhattan.
Now there's power on that left hook, on the left hook of Junior Jones. He allows Engel to catch up with him and step back on his right foot just a little. Throws it with all his power. He's allowing him to get set on his right foot.
Jones gets away with a body shot right at the top of the belt.
If only Ingle would try to fight.
Remember, a year ago in Manchester, England, Paul Ingle was knocked out in the 11th round while doing well against Prince Nassim Hamed. Junior Jones scored a dramatic 11th round rescue knockout while doing badly against Richard Evans. And when Ingle won his title in November against Manuel Medina, he had to survive the 12th round with a badly damaged left eye.
There's the left hook. The left hook is in the mix for Junior Jones now. That hadn't happened all night. Ingle has just got to get mean.
Jones with that swelling right eye, able to stay aggressive and maintain his offensive through the last 3 rounds.
There it is again. You cannot exchange right hands with Junior Jones. Go left hand crazy. Go left hand crazy. Junior Jones he has no defense for the left hand. Hooks.
Well, I think Ingle may have lost his confidence to fight offensively at this point, George.
You just got to fight. You have a title, you got to fight.
He's been hurt at each of the last 3 rounds.
Good. You got to fight.
And I was amazed when his trainer, Steve Pollard, told him between rounds that he was still ahead in the fight. I'm not sure I would have told him he was still ahead in the fight.
Not at all. Not with a knockdown. Has that exchange of right hands again. Keep fighting now. Keep fighting.
Good left hand inside by Ingle.
Throwing punches.
You're pushing it down.
Junior looks very tired. He's put out a tremendous effort since that speech. He almost looked wobbly there.
Ingle's got him. Stay on him with the hooks. You can drop him also.
And Junior takes a moment to listen to Steve Smoker. And now Ingle has a chance to finish. But Junior comes out of the corner.
Left hooks.
We've got excitement in Madison Square Garden with 2 rounds to go.
You don't lay off now. We're keeping going. Just a butt up, and you let him walk right in. And you set your feet, goddammit. And you set your feet. And you throw a hard jab and you do something off if you keep him from walking in. You got to keep pushing on now. Don't start stopping now. It's coming up round 10.
11 coming up.
11 coming up. Keep the work rate going now. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Don't let him get a charge of this round anyway. Don't make no mistakes. But keep busy. Keep doubling in now and start throwing more right hands off. Now listen, all you got is 6 minutes. Now I want a good defense. Straighten yourself up a little bit. I want a good defense. It's fine. Listen, get yourself together. And inside, stop looking to grab, because every time you look to grab, you fall in and he punches. And you leave.
Letterman, how do you have it going to the 2 championship rounds?
Okay, Jim, in rounds, I got it all even at 5-5, but certainly Junior Jones has to be ahead by 1 point based on a knockdown in round 9. 95-94, poison Junior Jones.
I have it by 1 point for Ingle.
More than 10 rounds. Junior
Jones looks like he's done.
There's a TKO. No, a standing 8 count. Standing 8 count.
5, 6.
Not available in the rules.
Hey, you all right?
Not available in the rules. Harold Letterman, what happened?
Okay, Jim, it's not a standing 8. If the ropes are holding you up, if you're helplessly caught up in the ropes, it's a knockdown.
And there's the TKO.
He's not stopping him. He's not stopping. He's holding his left.
He waved his hands as though he was.
Yeah, but Junior has nothing left.
Oh, but Junior has a little danger still ahead.
2 knockdowns in the round.
Jim, it only counts as 1 knockdown.
Yeah, because there was no count on the second one.
I don't know what is holding Junior Jones up. He looks semi-conscious.
And now Smoker stops the fight. On the 3rd try, Paul Ingle gets a technical knockout win over Junior Jones. And Jones just exhausted himself with that 3-round rally, 8 through 10.
He had to take the shot. It's like a runner who is way behind in the middle of a race. You've got to catch up. and then you just hope you can gut the rest of the race out. And he just didn't have enough.
Harold Letterman, is that round within the rules the way it was conducted?
Okay, Jim, absolutely. The first knockdown in round 11 was like Bert Cooper knocking Evander Holyfield into the ropes. It wasn't a standing 8 count. The ropes were holding Junior Jones up. Smoker called it a knockdown. On the second one, Smoker just said, get up. He never bothered to count.
Why?
It was Smoker's call. Smoker felt that he fell down and not from a punch.
It wasn't a knockdown.
All right. So there's the explanation as to how the referee conducted the round, and Junior Jones falls prey to a technical knockout loss to Paul Ingle in a fight in which Jones showed his courage, Ingle showed his tenacity.
I said it all along, you got to fight. You can't do it on trying to win points. Fight.
Classic case of a fight. Now, George, let's look back. Junior's legs were already in trouble when first he got in danger against the ropes here.
Yeah, and it's the left hooks, the left, the left, the left. Don't exchange, just left, 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 then sneak one in, left all night. The referee saved him from a sure knockout.
And this is the same thing again. Steve Smoger making the determination here that the ropes were holding Junior Jones up. And that's why he stepped in and administered the 8 count to Junior Jones, not the standing 8, which I thought it was. Now here's where Jones went to the canvas and Smoger elected not to count.
It was not a knockdown.
Saying that it was a fall.
It was a fall.
And another look at the fall.
And he'd been warning him all night. He'd warned him all night about pulling him down.
And then here's the end of the fight when Smoger decides that Jones just can't continue anymore.
One shot after another. Jones is defenseless. Gets up against the rope. There you are. Came to the rescue.
And a celebration for the Yorkshireman who defends his version of the featherweight title, looks ahead to a fight with the people's champion, Prince Nassim Hamed.
Fantastic.
And now let's go to Michael Buffer for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Steve Smoger calls a halt to this bout. The official time, 1 minute, 16 seconds of round number 11. The winner by TKO and still featherweight champion of the world from Scarborough, England, Paul the Hunter Ingle.
Final punch stat numbers in a real fight with shifting tides of fortune, ebb and flow. Ingle landing 19 more punches than Jones, although Jones threw 269 more punches than Paul Ingle. Thus the difference in their connect rates.
Well, what a good fight.
Jabs. Ingle much more effective and much more accurate throughout the fight with his jab. Jones laboring to find Ingle's constantly moving head. Our punches, the category in which Junior got better and better as the fight went on, but at the end taking too much punishment as Ingle was able to land more than half of his hooks, crosses, body shots, punches other than jabs. And the judges' final scorecards, how did it stand going into those last 2 rounds? Who would have won the fight if it had gone the distance? Well, it was 95-94, 96-93, and 94-95. So the fight was still on the table for the man who could take it in the last 2 rounds, although Ingle had a slight edge at that point. And now Larry Merchant stands by with the winner, Paul Ingle.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Paul. Describe what you just threw.
I totally enjoyed it. You don't enjoy many fights, but that fight I totally enjoyed. I felt in control, relaxed, and totally, you know, enjoyed the full fight. Fair enough. I mean, we knew Junior had a big punch, but I've got the stamina, the speed, and the accuracy, which counted in the end. We knew he's got a big punch, and obviously he's going to win. We won. Some of skills are working on my defence, but I totally enjoyed the fight, and I hope I made an impression here, and I hope to return.
When you were knocked down and went over with your legs and your backside and everything, how hurt were you? Was the fight slipping away at that point?
No, not at all. I mean, when you Junior had a big punch. The punch hit flush. No matter what, whether you're a featherweight or anything, if that punch had hit Ahmed, it'd have gone down, guarantee you.
He made a very, very big effort in the 9th and 10th rounds. Did you see that sapping his energy?
Yeah, the aim was to draw his punches, make him miss as much as possible. And as the fight got on, it was working. Taking that away from Junior, hit me with some good shots and some good clean shots.
You told us yesterday that you were not interested in a rematch with Prince Ahmed right away. You wanted to defend your title against some other challengers before that. Is that how you still feel now?
Yeah, I'd like to defend these titles a couple of times and then go for Ahmed. Ahmed's out there for me. I mean, if Ahmed wants it, then he can have it. It's simple as that. I mean, I'm easy. I'm a fighter. I'm in the business to earn money. And if Ahmed wants it, he can get it on.
Thank you very much. Thanks for an outstanding fight. Junior. That was an excellent fight, Junior. You were behind in the middle of the fight. His movement was giving you all kinds of problems. Teddy Atlas gave you that vehement pep talk. You came out firing. What was going on in your mind at that moment?
I mean, I know I had to do a little bit more than what I was doing. I was looking to kind of BS a little bit, like grab and hold, and Teddy told me I had to hit a little bit and back this guy up.
And you did. And when you knocked him down, did that restore your feeling that now I've gotten into it, or were you already getting tired?
I wasn't getting tired. I just didn't do what I had to do. I had nothing to do with getting tired. I was trying to put my mind to the fight and try to, do what I had to do to win the fight. Just couldn't, no excuses, couldn't get it going.
You gave a tremendous effort after Teddy Atlas gave you that pep talk following the 7th round. Did that drain you in any way, even though it brought you into the fight?
No, it didn't drain me. You can't blame the corner. You can blame me. I did the wrong things to him. He was a little better than I anticipated. I may have took things a little bit for granted, and that's the outcome we got.
Will you continue to fight?
Sorry, truthfully, I can't think about that now. Right now I gotta, get back and, sit down and be honest with myself before I decide whether I'm gonna fight again or whether I'm not gonna fight again. Even if I don't, I had a pretty good career and did a lot of good things. So
you had an excellent career, Junior, and thank you for many outstanding fights. Back up to you, JB.
All right, Larry, thank you very much. Paul Engel was not concerned about coming here to fight in Junior Jones's territory. He said symbolic of what would happen. He came here sightseeing, and he went to the top of the Empire State Building. He leaves out here tonight on top as we take a look at the Statue of Liberty. Indeed, freedom for Paul Engel. Yet to come, the heavyweight championship bout between Lennox Lewis and Michael Grant. Lewis defending his championship title against the young gun, Michael Grant. And folks, we are expecting and hoping that we will have the same kind of action that we saw in the fight just now. Right now, we're going to take you inside of Lennox's Lewis's locker room and listen to the last-minute instructions. Let's give a listen.
Good evening, champ. We've been here. This is our 3rd time together. You know how I work. I know how you work. I expect a nice, clean fight, act like a champ, and I'll have a great night. There's only one thing I want to say, is try not to pull his head into you. Okay, I know we went through that already once before, okay? Lots of luck. Good luck. Any questions? No questions, champ? Can I see you a couple of moments? Oh, you didn't put it on yet? Yeah, you didn't put it on. Okay. Okay. All right. Good luck, gentlemen. All right. If it comes up, I'll pull it down. Lots of luck, gentlemen. God bless.
All right, as you saw there was a look at the cup. And again, there has been some talk about both fighters wearing their cups kind of high. They want to make sure that is not the case tonight. Folks, a pleasure to be joined by former world heavyweight champion Joe Frazier back here in Madison Square Garden.
You mean Madison Square Garden, my house?
And it indeed is your house. As a matter of fact, you opened this place back in 1968, having beaten Buster Mathis Sr.
That's right. Buster and I put on the title shot because at the time the title was vacant. So Mathis was 1, maybe I was 2, I'm not sure which was what. But then we fought for the title.
But now the thing was, that was your first title that you won then. The big event associated with that, did it take control? Were you nervous? Did it affect you at all negatively?
Well, you see, we go back with Mathis and I. We had some showdown as amateur. I lost to him in the finals in the national, and to go to Tokyo at the time. So I had a score to settle with Mathis, you know what I mean?
So you had a score to settle with Mathis, but put yourself in the place of Michael Grant tonight. First championship fight, big event. Do you think it will get to him at all tonight against Lewis?
I think that what happened last week with Grant and Collada.
When he fought Collada?
That's right. It put a whole lot of ideas and energy and know-how in this young man's heart.
So you think the fight against Collada recently gave Grant the kind of confidence necessary tonight?
Right.
Well, now, Grant hasn't been very effective in keeping that left hand of his up. And, of course, Lewis could take advantage of that. Could he have worked on that effectively in training camp so that he can keep that up?
Maybe he did. I don't know. But once the man, let's say, commit himself to start jabbing a right hand or something, that's all I want to know, that he wants to fight.
Okay, speaking of that, it's been said that Michael Grant, as a matter of fact, he indicated to our Nick Charles that he has to be aggressive. He's going to throw caution to the wind to some degree because he's got to be aggressive. Is that the right game plan, be aggressive?
I think that's the right game plan. I think that when he won this fight, he won that fight last week, this will give him a whole lot of ideas, a lot of thrust, a lot of feeling that he could be champion of the world.
You fought a big man in George Foreman. How was that?
Do we have to talk about that right now?
We'll respect your wishes, and right now we're going to give a listen inside of Michael Grant's locker room as he listens to the last-minute instructions.
Go.
Good evening, Michael. As you know, this is for the championship of the world, okay? Let's have a nice, clean fight. It's your show, not mine. Just listen to my commands, okay? Any questions?
None.
You have the belt so I can see it? I know he doesn't have it on. The belt. The belt. I want to look at the belt that we did.
Cup, you mean?
The cup. The cup.
Yes, it's on.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's set. And they've inspected it from the other side.
All right. Lots of luck, champ.
You got it, man.
God bless. Lots of luck.
God bless you, too.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You obviously have heard an awful lot of reference to the cups of both Lennox Lewis and Michael Grant. Let's check in with Nick Charles.
JB, it's been very busy behind the scenes here. We're right now in Lennox Lewis's dressing room. He's getting adjusted by his chiropractor, but moments ago, the Lewis camp wanted to inspect personally Michael Grant's cup. Emmanuel Stewart, Lewis's trainer, feeling that Grant had an adjustable cup and a strap that made him ride it up higher, and thus preventing, as we look at the protector right now, thus really narrowing the body target that Lennox Lewis would have to shoot at. So when the cup was that high, Emmanuel Stewart felt it would be be illegally high at that stage. So they went in. Don Turner, Grant's trainer, was visibly upset at the contention that the cup was too high and perhaps adjustable, and was going to go check Lennox Lewis's out himself, but then he declined. Harold Knight, Lewis's assistant trainer, went into Grant's camp, looked at it, saw no problem, and left. So that's the latest on the cup controversy. Back to you, JB.
All right, Nick, thank you very much, and we will find out if any of that will prove to be a distraction for Michael Grant at all. Well, folks, we're getting set for the big one. These are combined the two biggest men ever to battle for the heavyweight championship. Two 21st century athletes who are more than just sculpted fighters. They have the talent and firepower to potentially provide an explosive, dramatic event. The Big Apple, home to the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty, and the Twin Towers of boxing, where tonight 6'5" heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis faces undefeated 6'7" Michael Grant. It's 500 pounds of boxing, and never before have such behemoth men squared off for the heavyweight championship of the world. There have been gigantic heavyweight champs. 1919, Jess Willard stood 6'6", 245. In the 30s, Primo Carnera was even larger, 6'6", 270. Both were mounted businessmen who slugged and clubbed but lacked skill and artistry in the ring. Now, at the turn of this century, we are witnessing unprecedented athleticism by these giants in the sport.
If you were wondering what a 21st century heavyweight might look like, it might look like Michael Grant.
In just 6 years, the massive Grant, with his let's get it on style, has 31 victories.
How's he going to deal with Michael Grant's giant physicality?
He's dominated opponents with astonishing quickness, unrelenting pressure, and brutal force. And a huge heart, which he showed by climbing off the canvas against Andrew Galata in his last bout.
And Michael Grant will earn a lot of fans with a gutty comeback knockout win.
What this skyscraper lacked was a formidable foil against which to measure himself. Enter Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis is at the pinnacle of his 11-year career and fresh off his title unification victory over Evander Holyfield.
Hard right hand by Lewis. Bigger man, George. Bigger punch.
He annihilated common opponent Andrew Galata in just 95 seconds.
That's it. Tremendous statement by Lennox Lewis.
Lennox's mettle has been tested by some of the division's best. A win tonight can further stamp his authority as the heavyweight of this young millennium. Tonight, two athletes light years ahead of their predecessors go head-to-head for the grandest prize in sports. Literally, it's a huge night of boxing with two of the biggest battling for the heavyweight championship of the world.
When two men whose combined heights exceed 13 feet and weights nearly topple 500 pounds come face to face inside an 18 by 18 square foot ring. When one has had 11 championship fights, the other has had none. When one is 34 years of age, the other is 27. Moments from now, those questions and others will be answered when heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis defends his crown against Michael Grant for the most prestigious title in all of sport. Too Big is being brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the undisputed, undefeated king of beers. This Bud's for you. Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. And by TVKO, pay-per-view entertainment from HBO. And folks, New York City abuzz this evening as we head inside of Madison Square Garden, where a near-capacity crowd is on hand here at the Garden. Fight fans all who know there is nothing in the world of sports quite like a heavyweight championship fight. And in the history of the sport, there has never been a battle waged by men who combined are as tall and as massive as Lennox Lewis and Michael Grant. All that's hoped for are fireworks by these two potential bomb throwers. Lorraine Bracco from The Sopranos. Here, stars everywhere. Whoopi Goldberg, you know her. Big screen and little screen. And Keyshawn Johnson, former New York Jet, now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and his former coach, Bill Parcells, who has stepped aside as coach. Michael Imperioli of The Sopranos. Lawrence Fishburne, extremely accomplished actor. And who doesn't know this face? Mr. Harrison Ford, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Matthew Broderick, all here to watch the heavyweight fight. Spike Lee, Fernando Vargas, all here to watch this heavyweight championship match. And folks, Lennox Lewis begins his quest to define himself not just as a heavyweight champ, but a great one, which means to me that he has to do it impressively against all comers. Now, Grant, for his part, feels that he is the talent-laden young gun who, despite his lack of big fight experience, championship experience, can defeat Lewis and become the top gun of the heavyweights. The showdown in tonight's fight, which is called Too Big, is moments away. So right now, let's take you back downstairs to Jim Lampley.
All right, thank you very much, James Brown. Ringside with George Foreman. George, Lennox Lewis spent 11 years chasing the heavyweight championship of the world. Now that he's got it, is this the kind of man who's going to grow into his title and be tougher and better than ever? Or is he likely to be a little bit satisfied and therefore perhaps ready to slide?
He went out and picked his opponent. That's what you don't want to do as heavyweight champ of the world. You go picking fruit, picking roses, and you get stuck with the little thorns on the bushes. He shouldn't have done that. This could be his most difficult fight because he acted as the matchmaker. You don't want that in the heavyweight division.
You think he's right?
You get overconfident, halfway through training, you realize, I'm going to have to fight.
All right, Larry Merchant, on the other hand, the widespread supposition is that Lewis and his people sat ringside at the Grant-Galata fight, looked at the damage that Galata did to Grant and said, let's go ahead and take him now before he gets any better. Did they miscalculate? Is all that magnificent potential about to explode into a new American heavyweight championship?
Or just blow up? Michael Grant's potential as a prize fighter has always been related to his potential as a star attraction. He is a magnificent specimen, a good kid. Think Mark McGuire. Also think big shoulders. He's a big-shouldered kid from the city of big shoulders, Chicago, in a country of heavyweight big shoulders. He is the American hope, or hype.
We shall see. The first postmodern heavyweight championship fight. The first time that this title is contested between two of the kinds of athletes you see on NFL football fields or in NBA arenas. And the tale of the tape between Lennox Lewis and Michael Grant. Lewis giving up 7 years in age, 2 inches in height, 2 inches in reach, and 3 pounds to the younger, bigger challenger. Punch that numbers, Larry.
Hey, look at how active they are. You can see that in general, they throw approximately 40-plus punches around, a little bit more than is average for heavyweights. Jabs, perhaps the most important numbers. Lewis has a big, heavy jab. Grant is quicker. The early going, we'll see whose jab is dominating. And perhaps the most important numbers, defense. These numbers show how often these fighters have been hit in recent fights. Grant is a big strike zone. 50% of the punches thrown at him have landed. Only a third of the punches thrown at Lewis.
Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Lennox Lewis-Michael Grant fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell at any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
And now let's go into the ring for the American and British national anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like everyone to please rise as we honor challenger and champion respectively with their national anthems. First, we honor America with the Grammy Award-winning artists here to perform the national anthem, Nathan, Michael, Sean, and Wayne, known to their millions of fans around the world as Boys to Men. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Boys to Men.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming,
Whose broad strokes and bright stars through the perilous fight,
o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in the air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free? And the home of Thank you.
Michael Grant, a good old American all-around athlete. Football, basketball, had a baseball tryout with the Kansas City Royals. Could rock and fire at 90 miles an hour plus. And then, already adult, already a grown man, he took up boxing at the suggestion of some who saw him and said, hey, with your frame, you will be a force in the ring. Grant now prepares for a final prayer before coming into his first heavyweight championship fight.
Heavenly Father, we worship you tonight. We thank you that you are the God of all gods. We thank you, Father, that we're here tonight to watch your power cause this man to do what no one else has ever done, and that is bring down Lennox Lewis, Father, in defeat. And we just thank you, Father, that in the name of Jesus, all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise goes to you. We thank you for causing him to be in this time, in this place, and giving him this opportunity. He said, Father, that your eyes are upon the righteous and your ears are open to our prayer. And so we pray tonight that you be with Mike, that the Holy Spirit would be his helper, his guide, and that everything that he has learned in training, may the Holy Spirit bring it back to his remembrance in a time of need. Father, we thank you for your grace upon him tonight, and we do declare victory, and we receive it. We bless you for it in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. We do pray. Everyone in agreement said, amen.
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 Amen. All right, we gotta walk. We gotta roll. Good night, Mike.
We mean no disrespect to the British champion of the world. If we could, we would show you what's going on in his dressing room right now as well. But our cameras have not been allowed into Lennox Lewis's dressing room, so we are able to show you what happens here in Michael Grant's surrounding area, and that's why we're here. Grant is a devout Jehovah's Witness, sings in the church choir, and occasionally performs as a lay preacher. If he wins tonight, rest assured his first words will be to honor God.
Look like that cup is high again.
Watch the court, gentlemen.
Well, it could scarcely be higher than the cup Lennox Lewis wore in his first fight with Evander Holyfield last March here in Madison Square Garden. So both fighters are known to be partial to the higher cup, although with Grant, it has been more extreme at times.
And here it comes. As legend would have it, Michael Grant was inspired to become a boxer by the excitement of Evander Holyfield's first 2 fights against Riddick Bowe in 1992 and 1993. But he never laced on a boxing glove until after the time when Lennox Lewis had, for the first time in his career, won a heavyweight championship title belt.
This afternoon, Jim, Michael Grant, for an hour, was singing some of the greatest hits of the 60s and 70s with a friend, including many of Sam Cooke's best numbers. One of the lyrics goes, "I'm too scared of living, but I'm afraid to die. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change is coming." And he takes that to mean a change in the heavyweight division.
He sings gospel, soul, and rhythm and blues, though the attitude with which Grant sings it, it might be better called rhythm and joy than rhythm and blues.
Grant says he never reached his full potential in baseball, basketball, or football. He sees this as an opportunity to finally achieve his full potential in an individual sport.
A carefully calculated professional career, 31 fights expressly chosen for the purpose of bringing him to this threshold. It almost all came apart last November against Galata, but he got through it, and now here he takes advantage of the chance to fight for the title. 22 knockouts, many of them simply by wearing his opponent down over the course of several rounds.
And of course, what doesn't kill you often makes you stronger. And he probably will be stronger for having experienced that near-death knockdown.
Back up. You gotta back up. Back up. No, he's gotta back up. He's gotta back up. Back up. Keep moving.
The man in the blue jacket is Lennox Lewis's brother, Dennis, urging those in front of them to back up. Throughout his career, Lennox Lewis has projected at moments like this an almost supernatural calm. We used to distrust it. More and more we understand this is simply the man he is.
Well, he's taken a long and arduous and very tenacious road to the top of his profession. He hasn't really gotten enough credit for that, how he has stuck with it until he did achieve his dream. And
I can tell you what those guys are thinking there as they walk up to that ring. Did I go to the restroom enough? Fact of life. Should I have gone once more? You are nervous. Extremely nervous.
Announcers aren't immune to that thought, George.
If you say to yourself, the uncertainty is the most frightening foe that ever lived.
Well, Lennox Lewis lived through a lot of uncertainty to finally become the heavyweight champion of the world. 35 wins, the 1 loss on a quick stoppage after the knockdown by Oliver McCall, and the draw with Holyfield here last March in a fight in which most of the Western world thought that Lewis was robbed. And now let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer to set up the heavyweight title fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Madison Square Garden, New York City, tonight, 29 April, year 2000. Panics of USA main events, and your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, present two men, the two combined biggest men in boxing history, facing each other for one title, the one true title, the legitimate, universally recognized, undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, the WBC, the IBF, and the IBO. Presented in association with TVKO pay-per-view from HBO Sports and HBO World Championship Boxing. At ringside, the three judges assigned to score this 12-round bout on the 10-point must system are Anik Hongtong-Kam, Melvina Lathan, and Steve Weisfeld. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Arthur Mercanti, Jr. And now, from Madison Square Garden, New York City, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trimmed with blue. He stands 6 feet 7 inches tall and weighs 250 pounds. He comes to the ring tonight with a perfect professional record consisting of 31 bouts, 31 victories, including 22 knockouts, and he has held the world title belt of the IBC. Ladies and gentlemen, from Norristown, PA, USA, here is the top-rated world contender, the undefeated challenger, Michael Grant. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, standing tall at 6 feet 5 inches and weighing in at 247 pounds. His professional record, an outstanding one with 37 bouts. He has 35 victories, including 27 knockouts, only one defeat with one draw while capturing 4 world championship title belts. Ladies and gentlemen, from East London, England, presenting the universally recognized, reigning and defending, undisputed, true heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis.
Second in here, everybody else out. Let's clear the ring. Just the chief second, my friend, okay? Good evening, gentlemen. You two are big men. Let's have a nice, clean fight. Good luck to the both of you. God bless.
You heard Grant say God bless to Lewis. These are two Goliaths. It's Goliath versus Goliath. No slingshots, just big boulders being thrown by both of them.
And for what it's worth, although this doesn't seem to interest the public, these are two good men. Early thunder from Grant. Lewis tries to fire back. Grant said he would come out aggressively, and he lands a big right hand. Everybody talks about Grant holding his left hand low. Lewis holds his left toe low also, and Michael Grant just illustrated it by pounding a right hand through it.
Lewis is a good right hand puncher, but he needs his guy exchanging the right hand. He shouldn't be overthrowing him right now. Grant is a big guy. You want to be conservative now. Don't waste any shots.
Grant put in a left hand to the body. He's a better, more effective body puncher than Lewis.
Step back now.
Now Lewis is getting the rhythm now of stopping his right hand, and you don't want him to get in the rhythm of stopping Grant's right hand because his confidence gets greater and he stands straighter up for his over top right hand. Grant's got to be conservative. Don't throw that right hand unless you know you have an opening.
There's already a little blood coming from the mouth of Lewis.
I think as a result of the right cross that Grant landed over against the far ropes there.
Well, you got to have a lot of Vaseline in your mouth when you get in the ring. The first round, not enough lubrication there. You need Vaseline.
Lewis lands an uppercut and Grant goes down. Thunderous uppercut.
That punch landed very high on the head, which is a place that can paralyze a fighter.
Second fight in a row in which Grant has been knocked down in the first round. Second time he'll have to work to survive the last minute of round one. Lewis lands a right hand on the top of the head. Grant trying to fire back. Ropes held him up. Mercanti will count again. 2 knockdowns in the round. 5. No 3 knockdown rule in a heavyweight title fight.
8. Lewis has got to be direct. Don't waste your shots with this big guy. He has endurance.
Lewis throwing to the body as Grant tries to hold him upstairs. Break. Lewis got in another right hand.
Grant is wobbling. 1 punch will finish him. Can he hold on for another 20 seconds?
Another uppercut lands for Lewis. That's the punch that did so much damage.
Lewis has still got to be... Whoa!
That should do it. That's it. That should do it.
That's it. He's broke his leg.
Don't be. I don't think Grant will get up from that. Well, here it comes. He's going to try. 8. And Grant makes it out of the round. Michael Grant's plan to attack produced a sudden reversal in round 1. Give it up.
Water.
Mike.
You gotta use your legs, man. You gotta use your legs. You hear what I say? You gotta use your legs, man. Mike, stop. Come out. You all right, dude?
Never been a round like this in heavyweight boxing history between 2 such big men. This is the first knockdown, the right hand on top of the head, which disoriented Grant and had him weaving, holding on, looking to find his balance for the rest of the round. And that right hand appeared to finish him. How did he get out of it? Does he have anything left here? And now it's Lewis who goes on the attack.
Lewis still got to be conservative. He should stick his left jab and start feinting a little bit now. Michael Grant, nothing else. He has endurance.
Well, for any who still think the fight will go 12 rounds, Grant is now in a deep hole.
Step back. His corner told him to use his legs, but I think just being big and using your strength.
It took amazing fortitude for Grant to get up from that third knockdown. The kind of fortitude he showed in surviving the first round against Galata. But Grant still doesn't have his legs, and Lewis is just teeing off.
That is a lot of weight. After you miss, you bump into something like that, you can get pretty tired throwing shots. Lewis is better set it up with his left jab.
Well, he's got his legs here for a moment.
Don't waste your punches on big men.
Let's go. George, this is survival here.
For Lennox Lewis, better be conservative. You better throw and know what you're throwing after.
Lennox is being careful. He doesn't want to walk into a big right hand coming back.
He's walking right into a big puncher.
All right, let's go.
Step aside, jab him, go to the body, then feint, come back on top. Don't just walk in. Forget about the first round. Start all over again.
There he goes. Lewis beginning to pop the jab. And now Grant begins to get his senses back as well.
Michael, break. Stop holding Mike now.
That's the thing about big guys fighting. There's not a lot of room in the ring. for them not to cover up and start grabbing and
And Lewis landing the uppercut again, and he punches Grant into submission for the moment with the uppercut. But Michael still able to stand up.
Hold on.
Step back, I said break.
You weather the storm, and the rounds can even get better for you.
Lewis missed the uppercut, landed the right hand.
But Lewis got a little taste of Grant's power that time also.
But go that head, Lennox.
Big mistake for Lewis not to be a little more skillful here. He needs to be using his jab.
And for the moment, Lewis looks punched out as he lands another uppercut and floors Grant for the fourth time. 5, 6, 7. This time I don't think so. 9. That's it, my man. That's it. That's it. That's it. I got you.
The plan to attack Lennox Lewis just backfired.
Big time.
Need to be conservative. Let the fight go along. Get some advantages. He didn't do that.
The punch with which Lennox Lewis finally bested Evander Holyfield last November was his right uppercut. The punch with which he finished this fight was his right uppercut. People are going to begin to learn you don't give Lewis a chance to throw that punch when it matters.
Boy. Well, good fight for heavyweights.
That was exciting, wasn't it?
And what a bravery for Grant.
Oh, man.
Where did he get the heart? He get a paycheck. He deserves it.
Yeah.
Well, you got fireworks. We waited all year last year for fireworks in the heavyweight division, and we finally got them here.
Well, this is one of those games where 4 minutes of action can be better than an hour of inaction.
Ooh, over the top, he's holding him, and he lands that uppercut.
Absolutely right. Got away with holding the head while he landed the uppercut.
Grant should not have been down there. Ooh,
that hurts.
Lennox Lewis is a puncher.
There are going to be a lot of fans looking at this, George, and wondering, well, he seemed to have Holyfield outmatched. Why wasn't he able to do that against Evander, who weighed 217, when it was easy to do it against Grant, who weighed 250?
Grant did a foolish thing. He attacked this heavyweight champion, and he's the same height and even taller. You attack him if you're lower. Don't stand up in that high ground.
Yeah, and Holyfield didn't do a lot of punching because he was afraid of this. Tried to slow the fight down, and he did.
So Lennox Lewis solidifies his hold on the heavyweight title.
I'm strong. I'm strong. Good job, gentlemen. That's a lot of questions.
And the disappointed Grant, frustrated that he has no more chance tonight, thinking misguidedly that he could have continued. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 2 minutes, 53 seconds into round number 2. The winner by knockout victory, and still the universally recognized, undisputed, true heavyweight champion of the world, from East London, England, Lennox Lewis.
As George Foreman called him, the most American of foreign champions, and certainly this will increase his popularity in America, where fans like punchers.
They like knockouts, and this is it. He's the house fighter here tonight. The Garden people, they saw him do good against Evander Holyfield. Now they've seen him even do better tonight.
47 out of 83. Of course, a fair amount of it was target practice after he got Grant in trouble with the big right hands in the middle of the first round. Grant didn't do too badly, landing 22 out of 47, but he was unable to do the necessary damage early when he landed on Lewis before Lewis was ready to go.
Oh, it was that reggae music he came into the ring with.
It hops you up,
jumping and jumping and jumping and
power punches. Grant 15 out of 34, Lewis 34 out of 64. It was a clinic with the uppercut once he got it going. And a knockout victory for Lewis, the most explosive showing of his career. Let's go to Larry Merchant in the ring.
All right, thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Lennox. You thought that because of what happened in Grant's last fight with Galata when he got knocked down in the first round, that he wouldn't be so bold. Were you shocked that he came at you the way he did?
Yeah, I was shocked. I said, if he came at me, it was going to be a short fight. You know, I was surprised when they said he was going to come at me, straight at me. I was surprised because I'm the hardest fight in his whole career. He's been boxing against B-class opponents. Now he's moved up against A-class opponents, and I was really surprised.
What were your thoughts at that moment? Did it take you a moment to gather yourself and say, okay, I'm just going to wait and see, look for openings?
Yeah, I realized that, you know, after I was throwing my jab, he kept on putting his head down. So I realized I got more superior speed. He's never seen a boxer like me, so, you know, I felt very confident going in there.
Did anything he threw at you and landed have any effect on you?
No, not really, because most of the time I've seen when he was winding up. You know, he came in there pretty gutsy. He's a good young fighter. He definitely should keep it up.
We're going to take a look at the final knockdown that resulted in the end of this fight, and I want you to look at it and tell me. Now, aren't you holding him at the same time as you're punching him?
Well, no, not really. He was actually he put his head down, so I just kept his head in one position so I could get a good shot at it.
Could you tell that after the knockdowns in the first round that he wasn't all there coming out in the second round?
Well, I realized, you know, if I hit him and he went down, all I have to do is keep on hitting him. Like I said, you know, he got up against Galata, but if he dared to get up against me, I'll just hit him again. And, you know, more time, it's just going to be harder and harder.
Your trainer, Emmanuel Stewart, has wanted you to be aggressive, says that you have needed to show passion, to go after your opponents, to produce exciting, dramatic results. Have you been listening to him too well? Is this what you were hoping for?
You know, I say styles make fights, you know, and I believe that Michael Grant was a perfect style for me to showcase some of my talent. You know, if he would have moved in the later rounds, I would have showed a bit more. But, you know, I don't get paid for overtime.
So, in effect, you're saying that you are who you are, and if the fighter comes to you, then he can expect the incoming as well as the outgoing.
I just come to conquer. That's all. Just come to conquer. Any guy that steps in front of me get knocked out straight away. You know what I mean?
After two major fights, the two biggest fights of your life last year against Evander Holyfield, and finally conquering the mountain, get to where you wanted for so many years, were you either concerned that maybe unconsciously you would let down here, or did you feel this is going to even make you better somehow?
It's just going to make me better. I improve with each fight. You know, the two fights against Evander Holyfield were just, you know, just one step to greatness.
Thank you very much. You were great tonight.
Thank you.
Lennox Lewis.
I'd just like to thank the Boxers Writers of America for voting me best boxer of the year. Enough respect to them. Thank you.
Once again, Jim?
All right, thank you very much. Well, George, you suggested before the fight that it was a bad idea for him to be the manager and pick the opponent. He proved you wrong on that.
Oh, he proved me wrong.
Now, here's the new...
That's the way I like it, though.
Yeah.
He's proven wrong.
Here's the new conventional wisdom I'll throw at you. He's still growing as a fighter. He hasn't taken a lot of punishment. He's a relatively young 34. He could rule for years to come.
I said that you pick those roses, you'll get scratched, and you saw what happened to his mouth early in the round.
Yeah.
Now, this guy can be around a long time because of this left jab. He didn't use it tonight. He should have. But I think he's going to get better and better and better, and he should retire at about 45.
Well, he uses different skills in every fight. I mean, the fight that he fought tonight is not what you expect out of the guy that you saw against Holyfield last year.
He fought like an American tonight.
Let's go back to the American Larry Merchant with the American Michael Grant.
Okay, thank you very much again, Jim. Michael, did you execute the game plan and get executed in the process?
You know, Jim, I think Larry, I came, I was just too anxious and everything. You know, a lot of people look at me to go ahead and bring this thing home, and I wanted to do that for me and for everybody who supported me, and You know, I felt a lot of love in Madison Square Garden tonight, and I never forget that. This has been pretty much the biggest shot in my career. And no, I didn't. I didn't execute the thing that I should have did.
Are you saying that somehow you got caught up in the excitement of this and perhaps went out too fast, or perhaps went out in a way in which you were attacking but not defending at all?
That I was attacking before. But before we get into the answer, let me give honor to God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I know things didn't work out the way I wanted to, but that was God's will, the way it happened right there. But no, I didn't attack. I mean, things didn't happen the way they should have happened as far as what my corner wanted me to do. I know I went down. I seen a lot of openness. The guy had his hand down, so I wanted to take advantage of that stuff. And obviously, he's swinging on wild left hooks because he knew that it was a smart fighter. I give credit to Lennox. He was a smart fighter. He knew I was going to come after that head. He had it wide open, and he did the correct thing. He threw an overhand hook to catch me around the backside and knock my equilibrium off, and there I was. I went down.
So did you ever regain your equilibrium between rounds? Were you able to restore yourself to any degree when you came out in the second round? What were you feeling?
Yeah, I felt good. I felt good. I was restored and everything. I wasn't hurt still. When I sat down in the corner and got maybe 30-second rest, I was ready to go back. I didn't even want to sit no more. I was ready to get back out there and fight because the guy knocked me down and it made me mad. I don't want to get out there and just try to do what I had to do.
All right, let's take a look at the final knockdown, and you tell us what you saw, because it's apparent in these pictures that he was holding you, or were you just bending down? Tell us what you see.
You know, he threw a jab and I threw a jab, and at that point right there, I think I was leaning in too far. He brought a punch under. You know, Lennox leans his weight on him, which is a smart idea. If the ref ain't gonna say nothing about it, it's a good thing to do. Lean your weight on your opponent and everything, and until the ref breaks you up, and then you can do what you want pretty much till the ref say anything about it. But he leaned on me and everything. Then he wanted to get sneaky with me. He threw a short uppercut in there. Probably hit me on the chin or in the neck or somewhere, and just, you know, weakened my equilibrium.
If you had it to do all over again, would you trust your boxing skills more than you did tonight?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I went to a straight grudge match, and I shouldn't have did that. That was stupidity on my part. But, hey, I'm learning. I learned in this game, and I got to get thanks, Larry. You know, I came a long way in a short period of time through my dedication.
So we can assume that we'll see Michael Grant again.
Oh, it ain't over till the fat lady sing, and everybody here is wearing a size 6 dress.
Thank you very much, Michael. Jim?
All right, thank you very much. And Michael Grant, terrific young man, showed his sportsmanship, I think, by not complaining.
I like that.
Let's take a look back at what happened in the first round, George, and talk to me about the significance of big man against big man.
Well, Lennox Lewis has been at a disadvantage. He's been fighting shorter guys for so long. He's not been able to show his real stuff like he did in the Olympics and in Europe. Tonight, he had somebody up there where all his power is. He took advantage of it.
So Grant's height gave Lewis the punching angles he needed to maximize his
they
power.
say you aim and you go right through or try to knock the guy down, and he was right there where you throw punches. He didn't have to look around his waist for him. Everything you want, Grant was there for it. Uppercut, right hand, hook. That's your dividend.
Lennox's sledgehammer uppercut, ultimately the finishing blow. And he celebrates in the ring with the symbols that Lennox really doesn't need. He doesn't need those belts for you, the public, and the rest of us to know.
You're going to have to give it to England. They got them a good champion.
He's the heavyweight champion of the world. All right.
He's an American, though. We want to keep him.
So he handled the 6'7" Grant. Now you look around for another young fighter who might have a chance to knock the crown off Lewis's head, and the next obvious choice is David Tua. Whole different picture. Tua's down around 6 feet, maybe even shorter than that. Also a big power puncher. Tougher challenge for Lennox.
I give Tua a better chance because he's down there, he's low. Lennox got to reach down, and he's going to get a lot of punishment for it. I give Tua a better chance.
Tua's big punch is not the right cross, but the left hook.
Yep, and he can do it. But I don't give him a win, but I give him a lot better chance than Grant had tonight. Tua is the next and leading contender, no doubt about it.
All right. So let's go back up to James Brown as we wrap up this heavyweight championship battle, which produced, James, memorable fireworks.
Sensational indeed, Jim. This is what we were hoping for. This is what we got. And I can't help but comment on a conversation that you guys are having about Lennox Lewis fighting someone bigger. I reflect back in the sport of basketball. Most basketball players, believe it or not, prefer competing against someone who is taller. It's a little easier versus against someone who's shorter. Lennox Lewis certainly showed that he has taken a big step toward greatness. He indicated that this was to be a night where he wanted to take a step toward not just being a good heavyweight champion, but a great one. He wanted to do it in impressive fashion. Folks, he did that. And Lewis, as you heard us say earlier, said that it would be a mistake for Michael Grant to crowd him and come at him, and he paid the price dearly. Too Big has been brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the undisputed, undefeated king of beers. This Bud's for you. Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. And by TVKO, pay-per-view entertainment from HBO. And finally, we'd like to thank the following magazine partners. For Jim Lampley, Larry Merchant, George Foreman, Nick Charles, and Harold Letterman, this is James Brown saying so long from New York's Madison Square Garden. The executive producer of TVKO is Ross Greenberg. Tonight's broadcast was produced by Rick Bernstein and directed by Mark Payton. Feature producer Matt Boland. Associate directors Greg Backer, Kirby Bradley, and Michael Whalen. Assistant to the producer Thomas Huffine. The production manager Mark Hayden. The technical supervisor Bob Hunter. And the technical director Douglas Getz.